Dan is still in New York. We're here in Miami.
It's cold here.
It is a little bit cold here. I walked out. It was a little nipply, right?
Is it nipply?
Yeah,
or
it's
nippy?
Nipply? I say nipply.
It's both.
Nippy.
It's a little nipply.
It's not both.
I've never heard somebody say it's a little nipply
Well,
outside.
now you have.
I have heard someone say it's nipply outside, but not about the weather.
Hey.
Tell you what, though. I woke up feeling good today.
Yeah?
I don't know if you guys are aware. It seems like the Florida Panthers might be back, baby. Come on now.
We're clawing back.
Come on now.
Turn that corner.
I think I figured this whole thing out with the Florida Panthers.
Go on.
As they can be a certain level of hurt, but once they pass that threshold of hurt and get even more hurt, then they seem to struggle.
So they were, for a little bit here, they were over that threshold, you're saying.
That's right. But now you have Verhaeghe back. You have Luosterainen back. All of a sudden, Sam Bennett finds his form.
You got the defenseman scoring some goals. God forbid.
Seth Jones.
Cats are clawing back.
Seth Jones, my dog. I don't know if you know about that.
Roy, get the table.
Yeah. I think I figured it out.
How many points back are we?
I don't know. I got to get the table.
I think they're 3 back of third and like 4 back in the division. But
They have games in hand.
games in hand.
I love games in
I
hand.
think I figured it out. More of the players need to have babies. Because Carter Verhaeghe, he's on that baby bump right now.
Get after it,
You know
guys.
what they say about a game in hand?
We're two in the bush?
That's exactly what they say.
Look at me, hockey guy.
When's Kachuk coming back?
Should be in about a week or two.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
He's my favorite. I like that guy.
Oh, yes. What a great guy. All right. It's all coming together, boys.
That's pretty much the only story people were talking about in sports yesterday.
It was a big one. Look, if you go into Salt Lake City and you take out the Mammoth.
Is that a real team?
Yes, it's a real
The
team.
Utah Mammoth? There's no way.
Yes.
That's fake. You guys are messing with me. Seriously. come on.
Just
real
one?
team.
Is it just one
It's
mammoth?
just one mammoth.
Definitely nothing else going on in sports yesterday.
No.
Winter's on, things off, now the time is here. Mix them up and you're changing on the fly. Hit checks, head tricks are gonna make them cheer. Got the block start to chirp and riding high. Now it's time for action, tonight's gonna burn this barn right up. Slap shot will light the lamp so nice. Let's go for a breakaway on the chase to raise the cup. We'll be standing on our heads till we meet them at center ice. Hockey is back, Jack. Hockey is back, Jack. Hockey is back, Jack, baby, and we'll meet you at center ice.
Zaslow taketh away and Zaslow giveth, because I was about to ask Amin and I was about to ask Tony and Pablo to give me the nickname of the Utah hockey team, and he took it away from me right at the end of the Shadow Show, but he did give me, and I like this trade, Nippy or Nipply, because I do like that 63 degrees in Miami is nipply, as I freeze off my frozen diamond nipples here where it's 20 degrees, but also worry about the Cleveland-Chicago Bears game this weekend where it's going to be negative 20 degrees. That seems like the most awful way to ever play football. Minus 20 degrees, I would cancel the game. That's unfair to human beings. That is wrong to human beings. Peanut Tillman, who is no coward, said he once played on a Chicago field, ran out on the field and said, I don't want to play today. I'd like to go back into the locker room. Football is not something I'd like to do today. Yes, Amin?
Dan, I don't mind them playing in that weather, but I do mind having to go watch them play in that weather. What about all those people just sitting there freezing their ass off? At least the football players have adrenaline. They're running around. They're scared. They're excited. They've got all these emotions going on.
They have those big Ninja Turtle disguise jackets
Absolutely,
and the heaters.
yeah. You can't see the half shell under that jacket. What about the poor person just sitting there in row XXX in section 655, freezing their ass off in that nipply weather, according to Zaslow?
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show, nippy or nipply. But you're right. I mean, the people paying for the privilege to be out in negative 20 degrees when they could be home while the player is being paid to do that does make it different. But Pablo, I was asking Dominique this the other day as we walked down the New York streets, and this is just 25, 30 degrees here in New York. I'm like, it has to hurt more to play football in this kind of cold. Would you not imagine that the bones and everything, physically, by science, that all of it hurts more? And he looks at me and he says, once you reach a certain level of pain, that's the amount of pain there is. And in football, the pain is ever present and everywhere. So there's no difference between playing it in negative 20 degrees and playing it in normal weather. But I would think it would be horrific to play football in negative 20 degrees.
I've learned that I should not try to relate to football players. They have opted into a sport premised on consensual concussions, Dan. The idea that Dominique was walking around like with cut-off sleeves. He wasn't wearing a jacket. He was wearing like a vest over a hoodie. Yeah, I find it hard to trump Dominique on the question of you guys are weak.
The pain threshold is something that I don't understand as we criticize certain football players for being soft. But before,
why is Mike looking like that?
Have you ever watched an NFC North broadcast? Everything hurts more in the cold. Yeah. And I've Googled this. It's actually backed by science. Your muscles are tighter. Your joints are stiffer. Everything hurts more in the cold. It just means more in the North division.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Does everything hurt more in the cold? You guys want to guess? Just guess how many teams when you talk about the Panthers, and I will get to Michigan in a second, and I will get to Notre Dame because I'm not letting Bavacqua go yet, no matter how poorly Michigan behaves. I've got to talk more about the Bavacqua thing. But I'm just going to throw this to the room. You guys want to guess in the Eastern Conference for the Florida Panthers how many teams are under 500 when you talk about where it is the Panthers are in the standings? Does anyone in there want to guess? Under 500 teams in the conference? Because I honestly didn't think that what I'm about to say was actually possible in any reasonable way. Guesses?
Yeah, we follow the sport a little bit down here. We're title town, and hard pressed to find one. I know Buffalo is pretty bad, but it's really hard.
Columbus is probably under 500. Right?
It's really hard to make the playoffs in that sport. Everyone appears to be pretty solid, and nothing is given on in the NHL. How many teams?
This is crazy, though. There's one team, and it's two games under 500. There's one team in the entire conference. You're only playing teams that win more than they lose in the conference.
Oh, but you're talking about, you're not counting the overtime losses. You're just talking about regulation wins and losses, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah. All right. Yeah, then just one. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, but the overtime wins and losses because somebody's got to be an overtime winner or loser, right? Like, I'm just talking about bad teams. Like the idea you're saying Buffalo's pretty bad, and okay, but they you know, the conference is loaded, and the reason that the Panthers are struggling is not actually because they're struggling. Their record is fine. They just play in a sport and in a conference where that record's not fine enough to get into the playoffs. And then you got what's happening. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Zaslow.
Yeah, it's a sport where if you get off to a slow start, which the Panthers have, it's really difficult to gain ground because of these overtime losses, because of the 3-point game. So, like, they find themselves in a spot where they have to dig out of a hole, and it's hard.
We've said for several years that this is a sport that, unlike some of the other majors, can certainly afford to expand because there are so many good teams in this sport. There are very few embarrassments in that sport. It's not at all like the NBA. Teams don't tank. Everyone is in the mix for the playoffs, it would appear.
Tony, you gave away your hand when it is you said, wait a minute, that's not a real team. The Utah Mammoth is not a real team. So you're a vote for you would not have gotten correct the nickname of the Utah Mammoth. I mean, would you be honest here? Would you have known that the Utah team was known by the singular Mammoth?
Yes.
All right, penalize him for lying, please. Get him out of the room because he's suspicious, and somebody hit him with a penalty for lying. What do you? You're clearly lying. You did not know that the Utah team was the Mammoth.
Wait, so hold on. So you're just basically saying I'm going to ask you a question, and I already think I know the answer. And if the answer doesn't jive, then clearly you're lying. You sound like
Well, you look suspicious. No, but there's circumstantial
sus.
evidence is that you looked all around the room and you looked really suspicious when you said that.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes. Tremenda, cagaçon.
ask me again.
Play on.
Ask me again, and I'll answer again, and let's see if I can do it less suspicious, I guess.
I mean, did you know that the name of the hockey team in Utah was the singular Mammoth?
Yes.
I don't think it's a singular mammoth. I think that's a plural of mammoth.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is the plural of mammoth?
I would have thought the plural's mammi.
Well, they've only been the Mammoth
Pablo?
for 32 games, so I guess you can get a reprieve.
Yeah, we
on that.
we would have accepted Utah Hockey Club.
Unluckily for
Pablo,
you, I knew it.
You make a ruling here. Is the plural? Get out of the room. I mean, is the plural of respect the penalties, please? Is the plural of mammoth mammoth?
Like deer, the plural of mammoth is mammoth.
Jeremy, do you have an official ruling from the internet?
Yeah, according to the club itself, mammoths is the plural. But the reason that they've used mammoth is to show one Utah, one hockey club, one mammoth.
Oh, for crying out loud.
I'm going to go with Pablo on this one. What is Utah?
I regret weighing in on this debate.
Did you know that the nickname of the Utah hockey team was the Mammoth? Yes or no?
Absolutely not.
Okay, I did not either. That is why I am asking the question, but I felt alone and insecure, and now that I have the company of other incompetents, I feel better falling into my misery and ignorance. Getting back to, and we will get to the Michigan story, as much of it as we can to, because I do think we need to be responsible about some of the details here, but it is fairly shocking to see a 39-year-old coach in a dream job fired, according to the university, sending out a statement for an inappropriate relationship with a staffer, and then hours later, he's in custody, and I'm assuming he's still in custody, and this has to be a special kind of misery to see everything fall apart for you. And again, there are other victims here other than Sharon Moore, allegedly, but there is a guy in prison who just had his dream job, or just threw away his dream job and allowed Michigan to get out from under that contract. Before I do that, because I want to better understand what has happened this week to Notre Dame, would you guys agree? Would there be any disagreement from Miami at all with the statement I'm about to make, which is, if what just happened to Notre Dame happened to the college team of anyone listening to this program, they would be as angry as Bavakwa is. If the same exact thing had happened where for a month as a made-for-television spectacle, you're in the playoff by ranking, you do nothing to lose that ranking by losing a football game. You do nothing but win your games the rest of the way. The hypothetical team of every single person listening to this show, everybody would be as mad as Bavakwa is, correct? Without a single dissension, you'd get total consensus on that when you get no consensus on anything in sports. Yes, Jeremy?
I mean, it has happened to me. My team won every single game and didn't get included in the ESPN CFP Invitational. And that was a result of never being included. There is a difference between what Notre Dame got, which is the tease. But my team, for 2 straight seasons, by the way, won every single game and never sniffed it. But Mike, I know, has a take on this.
Yeah, I was driven crazy by the mere specter of being screwed with head-to-head not mattering. I think the difference is, though, Pete Bavakwa has been very effective in changing the narrative. It's not because of mean tweets or re-airs that they're left out. And he has convinced a nation and that fan base that wanted a pound of flesh that is indeed the case. The reason that they are out is because of Greg Sankey's shadowy hand over the process, and he does not have the stones for that fight.
Definitely not because of my tweets. And also, Zaz, you know about that, Spectre?
No, I'm going to learn, though.
Jeremy, it didn't happen to you because part of this betrayal is the duping. You never thought Central Florida was going to be in the playoffs based on where it is that it was ranked by a committee for a month in a made-for-television spectacle.
That's right. But then the next season, when we went into the season, they said, well, surely that won't happen again. Sure. If you go undefeated a second straight year, maybe we'll include you. And then we did just that. So the first time around, we had to claim a national championship. And the second time, we were like, well, screw you guys. I guess we'll go lose by a touchdown to Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson with our backup quarterback.
I could argue that what happened to Jeremy's Central Florida team is worse. But this did not happen, okay? Where you're watching for a month, your school win 9 games. You're watching a made-for-television special for a month in which you're always in the playoffs, and then you watch over the month a month of arguing of, hey, if Miami beat Notre Dame, shouldn't Miami be ahead of Notre Dame? And then you look up one day when you're watching the selection committee make its selection, and you're no longer in it. We're in agreement that there's not anybody out there who would say they weren't mad if that happened to their team. So my question after that is, and I asked this yesterday and I didn't get a satisfactory answer, how could Bavacqua have handled this better? Somebody tell me what is the correct way to advocate on behalf of your constituency when it feels this wrong and your job is to advocate on behalf of this constituency.
Look, this is politics, and I say that very simply because the question of what should Pete Bavacqua be doing is not how do you appeal to the largest possible audience of fans in America. It's how does he represent the people he has to be worried about, which are Notre Dame fans. I don't know how you do this well. I think the entire thing is a contest of who do you like less, and you will root against that entity. And Notre Dame is clearly the most unliked. And so Pete Bavacqua, Dan, I just think he was doing exactly what he's incentivized to do.
I think he has done it well, though. If I just take out the petty complaining about the ACC, if I just take that part out, I think his language is the right language to use on behalf of your fan base. Farce, punched in the stomach. Mike, you tell me. If Miami's athletic director had to get out in front of the public when everybody hates Miami the way that they hate Notre Dame and they would enjoy the tears of somebody whimpering in public, what is the language you would want used?
Well, Dan Radakovich did put out a letter, which I was happy to see. I honestly, while everything was happening, personally, I wish Dan Radakovich did more. I think Pete Bavacqua has done well to make his fan base happy as they are angry after the fact. But I think he got caught with his pants down here a little bit, Dan, because you should have seen this coming. You should have been campaigning. You should have been working the narrative. You have so many media partners. You have this huge platform with Notre Dame. You should have been getting the message out there. Alabama, we're better than them. Oklahoma, we're better than them. The debate should have been firmly from the Notre Dame side, Alabama versus Notre Dame headed into that SEC championship game, and then everybody would have been viewing that SEC championship game in which Alabama had -3 rushing yards through the prism of Alabama versus Notre Dame. Their whole plan was just, this is why they're upset about the tweets and the re-airs, was hoping they could get away with head-to-head not mattering and being upset that people are calling it into public light, Zaz.
Well, is all of their fan base happy with the way Bavacqua is handling this whole thing? Because you would assume, just from the outside looking in, you would assume that everyone would understand, an unbiased fan here would understand why Notre Dame is unhappy, yet somehow Notre Dame, who seemingly got screwed, everyone is dunking on them now, and everyone seemingly hates them even more than we thought that they did, based on the things that Bavacqua is talking about. So, is he actually doing a good job?
This is the part that's weird to me, Zaz. If you believe in the idea of confirmation bias, okay, all that anyone is waiting for is anyone from Notre Dame to say anything so that they can simply reverse the entirety of their opinion and be like, oh, they were wrong, goes to, no, they're wrong for complaining about being wrong. I have not seen, I'm not kidding you when I say I just haven't seen a lot of things like this happen, where I'm on the front end and I am seeing that Notre Dame is wronged. Their athletic director comes out and does what you have to do, which is complain that you've been wronged. And as soon as he does that, everyone says, no, you're wrong for complaining about being wrong, even though we too would be complaining about being wronged. Any single person who's a fan who has complained about the officiating after a game, if you've complained about the officiating after any game that you've lost, this is something, this right here, what just happened, you think you have a team that's good enough to win the national championship and you're being denied the right to play for that game. It's just not something I've seen a whole lot of, and I believe it's just because people were looking for an excuse to dunk on Notre Dame. They do it to Miami, and I think maybe Alabama, and I think those are the three programs. I don't think this happens to Ohio State. I don't think it happens to Michigan. I think there's plenty of hate, but I don't think the nation at large laughs at someone being wrong this way unless it's only three schools. Is there a fourth? Do you guys have a fourth school that you would say that you could imagine a scenario where this happens, where someone who is articulating something and is right in articulating it is just wrong because of who he is and what he represents? And now this person, we only know his name because of this. Zaslow is sitting here enjoying this joyride, this amusement park of Bavakwa, only to make fun of him. So this person exists and is defined by he's a whimpering coward.
The contrast, though, and the reason why I respect Bavakwa is because this has been a college football month in which Lane Kiffin leaves for LSU because he doesn't care about the playoff, right? Like, he's like, there's a bigger game here. This sport is about something bigger, actually, than the wins on the field. And Bavakwa is acting as to your point, as I think every college football fan would want their program to act, which is to be, again, I get it, truly insufferable in defense of their honor. Like, you have to pick a fight. You can't be trampled on. Like, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. The playoff matters that much.
The writing of a letter, he can't stay quiet, right? That's not one of the choices. Your choices are fairly absolute here. Your choice is to make a loud complaint. It's not simply to send out a statement that has some grace in it, right? That wins him nothing with his constituency. Saying, oh, it's okay. Like the pulling of the bowl game, the taking your ball and going home, I suppose that's something that didn't have to be done if you don't want people to react poorly to you. But I just don't think you can do this quietly if you're him. I think, do you think Bavak was sitting here thinking he made any mistakes here? Do you guys believe, as you see what's happening here, do you think Bavakwa goes home to his family and says, I erred here?
The question is persuadable voters. Notre Dame doesn't have a lot of those. There are not a lot of people who are like, you know what, I was on the fence about Notre Dame. But Bavakwa's elegance and dignity in defending their college football position, that changed my mind. No, there's nothing he could have done, as far as I can tell, that would have resulted in anything different other than being as, again, and I get it, being as loud and indignant as possible about someone questioning whether they deserved this.
I think he could have been proactive instead of reactionary. I do think that stuff matters. Ultimately, you're talking about 13 human beings that are under pressure, listening to every criticism. And I think when it came to Miami versus Notre Dame and the head-to-head thing, the volume on that stuff mattered to me.
You guys aren't asking the right questions right now. The right question was asked in the chat, actually. Shout out to the YouTube chat. Is this Pablo's first time wearing a hoodie? Yeah. Because he's got the drawstrings tied up like it is when it first ships to you. No one ever has their drawstrings like that. Take
Never
one
seen
shot.
A guy
one
tie
shot.
His drawstrings.
Look at that. Who does that?
He's a gift to journalism. He has wrapped himself in a bow.
And a fraud.
And this is also advertising
and woke
today with Method Man on Pablo Torre finds out.
Whoa.
Wait
a minute.
Oh, so he was clearly
Merch
just
that I
given
got.
this.
So it is a brand new hoodie.
No,
No, it
Mike,
isn't.
Mike.
Yep.
Mike.
Yes, we were at.
Where did I get this? Where did I get this?
It was April 20th. I can remember that much. And it was at a RZA concert, and it was pre-COVID.
Jeremy, why are you comfortable calling Pablo a fraud? And he was so involved in his self-involvement that he didn't even hear the accusation of you calling him.
I'm fighting lots of different wars right now, Dan. Jordan Hudson's threatening to sue me. Nick Wright is litigating his own reporting with me as I continue to litigate it with him on Twitter as we speak. Phil Mickelson threatened to send us a legal letter. Steve Ballmer, obviously, is somebody who is actively trying to make sure that the NBA's investigation is not proceeding. In my view, into my work with the level of rigor that it deserves. The Chinese government, we investigated. The House Oversight Committee's investigating, frankly, a company that was started to steal the brainwaves from athletes. The NBA has another investigation into the gambling stuff related to Malik Beasley that we're responsible for.
Roy, isolate that hiccup of sound so that we can embarrass Pablo with it and how professional communicators stumbled through all of that. But Jeremy, answer my accusation. Why are you calling him publicly a fraud and he's fighting so many wars that he doesn't even hear the accusation?
Because he's clearly never worn that hoodie before. You've never worn that hoodie if you're now tying it. And if you are, what a crazy decision to tie that ribbon up.
Mike Ryan again to the witness stand.
That hoodie is at least 7 years old.
That's not the question.
That's not the question.
He's worn it before.
You can see him buy it.
Yeah, I saw him purchase the hoodie.
Did you see him then wear the hoodie
I've
on a
seen him-
separate occasion outside of that first time that he wore it? And
Yes.
were the drawstrings still tied when he wore it?
Why do you not believe us?
Why are you not answering the question?
I
feel like you're avoiding the question.
Well, I'm not answering the
This
question
is
because you're not
fraudulence.
allowing me the opportunity to.
This is not a pulpit, sir. You are going to answer the question and
Yes.
only the question.
I have seen him out a handful of times since he purchased the hoodie and been like, hey, that's a hoodie we bought at that 420 thing.
And were the drawstrings tried?
That's a new development.
Okay.
I am honestly surprised by the restraint that Pablo just showed in talking about some of this. He's a star bleeper and a name dropper, but he left out what I thought was the most interesting detail that links both the Method Man episode that he's talking about on Pablo Torre Finds Out and that hoodie. And I'm just surprised he didn't share it just before I share it. Is it because you don't want to spoil the end of the episode? Because I really thought you'd brag about what Method Man did for you toward the end of that podcast interview, because I couldn't believe that I got to sit in the middle of that. And I think Mike Ryan, at least I think Mike Ryan would be jealous of what Method Man did for us. But Pablo, what are you willing to reveal here?
I am processing a lesson from yesterday's show in which it turned out that me being the guy who finds out stuff, if I talk about it too much, becomes really unlikable. And so I'm hoping that other people talk about the stuff that I found out for me. Because, again, many different fronts, many different wars. But did I get to listen to the secret Wu-Tang album?
I knew it.
Method Man's
I
verse?
knew it.
You did?
I was telling people back here.
called
It's
it.
like it has to be the Scarelli vinyl. He's got access to the Scarelli vinyl.
Was it good?
We're in Shkreli mode.
Was it
So
good?
if you don't know who Scarelli is, he's the most hated of the pharma bros who jacked up and gouged people with medical prices on medicine because he had access to it and no one else did. And then with that, he spent how many millions of dollars to buy the single copy of this Wu-Tang album that no one has heard?
Multiple millions. I believe it's around $2 million.
Okay, and it is.
It's one of the craziest things that's ever happened. And Method Man's perspective as a guy, again, and Method Man, Dan and Method Man, just to be clear, like, are disturbingly intimate friends. And one of the things that I think that you guys in the Shipping Container and the Wu-Tang Clan have in common is that there are a zillion of you, and how to manage the artistic integrity of everyone is hard. And so Method Man was asked, apparently, will you submit a couple of tracks? Just like rap over these beats without knowing anything about the project. Submitted it to RZA, and he learned later that this was all in the service of a Wu-Tang double album, one of one, that got auctioned off for multiple millions of dollars and was bought by a guy sentenced to, I believe, various fraud charges successfully by the U.S. government years later, and then realized, oh, I might have done this differently. And yet he does have the tracks on his phone.
What is happening with the war you are presently fighting with Nick Wright that has made you realize that you came off as unlikable yesterday?
We need an update.
I don't know. The thing that I'm struggling with is I love argument, debate, sports television. I've worked at ESPN for 13 years. PTI, Tony and Mike, both are the foremost examples of people who left journalism to do that stuff. And so I want to be very respectful when I say that I think journalism in sports is basically going extinct. I worked at two places, Dan, that are now either dead or zombified. Sports Illustrated and ESPN The Magazine. Real sports at HBO is dead. HBO Sports fundamentally is basically dead. And the reason why is because truth is a bad business. Because it is a lot more fun and a lot easier, despite how good, by the way, how genuinely awesome Nick is at arguing about sports. And he is. And Tony and Mike are the greatest, in my opinion. And Stephen A. and Skip Bayless, and that's that tree we all know. The thing that I struggle with is how to explain to people why journalism is both good business and also a lot harder than you think, such that the people who chose to do the easier thing can't simply say, oh, I could do that if I wanted to, because it's not merely that you're not, it's that maybe you should, just from a perspective of like, what do we need more of?
Well, when you say, though, unlikable, and I throw this to the group here because I have found that over the course of the last 20 years of changing how it is that I behave within the construct of this, while also obviously respecting not just sports journalism, but journalism, it is a losing fight optically on whether or not you're going to be likable, not unlike what's happening with Notre Dame. If the starting point is I'm putting in front of the American people the job title of journalist, the starting point of that conversation is I don't like that person. I don't like what that person does. I don't value what it is that journalism is. I don't technically understand or care about what journalism is the way that people are practicing it is. So if I went around the country right now and I just said to somebody, most unpopular professions, I think I'm getting journalist with lawyer and used car salesman and whatever is the distrusted form of I don't know anything about that person and I don't like them already because what they do for a living is journalism. That's not because I grew up in a bubble of journalists growing up. I never realized this until legitimately. I didn't realize how bad it was until a moron wins the presidency running on a platform of those guys are phony.
I mean, my basic take here is that there's never been a bigger gap between what rich and powerful people want you to know and what they actually are doing. And in sports, that's especially true. Like there's a huge, everybody knows this. And by the way, I get it. It is risky. And I reference tongue-in-cheekly all of the lawsuits that are threatened against my show. And I can tell you, Dan, that God bless our single lawyer because there is a real actual cost potentially to that. It's not worth it
I know,
for people.
Pablo, I know the cost.
But you know that because this show is one of the things you chose to fund. And no one else is doing that. And so the question of like, why did this bit in which I apparently hate Nick, even though I actually don't, and I really respect him, but then he says things that actually make me just like my back sit up straight. It's because there's an insult to injury dynamic of like the choice of I'm not going to do journalism has been made by everybody but a small handful of people because it is hard and expensive and it's hard to make a business. And my whole point, by the way, the reason why Method Man is on my show and why I do like taste testing athlete weed and why I interviewed a witch and why we do things that are absurd is because I want to show like journalism is also fucking fun. Like I love it. I love it in a way that I don't think I did 5 years ago. But now I just realize how much riskier and harder it is to do this in a way that, by the way, is beyond my capacity. I'm not the best journalist out there. Read Julie K. Brown of the Miami Herald, who like actually stopped Jeffrey Epstein. Read Don Van Natta at ESPN, formerly of the New York Times. Read all of these people. And so the reason my back is up about this is just because it's not about Nick. It's about the dismissiveness that people have around, oh, if we wanted to, we could. And I'm like, I wish you would do that. And I also don't think you can.
Dan, I have a theory I'd like to float by you. I was thinking about Pablo. Why is Pablo so hated? And then I thought about Nick, and well, people hate Nick Wright too. And then I thought about you, and like, people hate you too. And I thought about Stephen A. I thought about all the other voices in the media that people hate. And I realized that one common denominator. You guys all have annoying voices. Yeah. Wow. Everyone, Pablo's is tinny. Exactly. Dan's is whiny. Stephen A. is too boisterous.
Hard to deny with that clip.
Is there someone out there in the media who has look, Ernie Johnson? Everyone loves Ernie Johnson. Why? His voice is normal. No one thinks of it as annoying. But all the rest of you guys have really, really annoying voices.
That's why people love me.
Skip has an annoying voice. Zaz has an annoying voice.
Jeremy.
My voice is fine. I mean, thank you.
There you go. No one hates Roy. No one does. No one hates Roy.
Yeah, fuck off, man.
Play that sound, please. Play that sound again of Pablo stumbling his way through communication as a professional Harvard debater.
That's what my brain is like lately, by the way.
That doesn't have any editing in it. That is clean, and that is exactly how it came out of his face.
I sometimes don't realize that I'm accidentally scatting.
That's not. Yeah.
I mean, the bip bop sounded like it was almost musical.
I'm going to object to what it is that Amin is saying, because I think annoying is second on the list of why it is all of those people, including myself, are hated. The next step on it is self-righteous, though. Like what Pablo is articulating here, that in his annoying voice, what he's articulating is the frustration of caring about something that other people don't care about, caring deeply about something that other people don't care about. And then the next step is on it, he's offended by the fact that not only do they not care about it, they think they understand what it takes to do it, and they don't. And because they don't care about it.
But Dan, here's the part. Like Dan Patrick, I would say, if you really listen to him, kind of self-righteous too. Especially when he talks about his exploits as a basketball player when he was young or whatever. But Dan Patrick, not an annoying voice. Everyone loves his voice.
Yeah.
Rich Eisen, a little self-righteous too, especially when he's got his Hollywood friends in the studio. Rich Eisen, not an annoying voice. Mm-hmm. You guys have annoying voices. If you had better voices, people would be more willing to tolerate your self-righteousness.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I don't think that Dan Patrick gives off a lot of self-righteous. He's not much of a strident opinion maker. Okay, apparently Amin does. But I'm going to share something that's uncomfortable to share, because I've made plans with Dan Patrick while he's in town here, and what he does, because he knows the power of that voice, and he also knows how annoying my voice is. What he does purposely, and no other man in my life does this. No other man in my life is allowed to do this. When he's on speakerphone, what you get in the most syrupy of sounds is, "Hello, Valerie." And he does it on purpose, and it's offensive. Like, he absolutely knows his voice is better than mine, and so he comes off as, I'm the better Dan, and he gets a little close to my wife with that voice, and I don't like it. And I've told him I don't like it, and he keeps doing it. It is disrespectful. But it's done in such a good voice that I have to abide the disrespect. I can't do anything about it, because all I do is sound like Bavakwa in an annoying voice when I complain about it. And it makes me less likable to my wife that I'm like, Dan, that's like, stop. And he's just like, he just keeps doing it. It's like, "Hello, Valerie." And he's just got a better voice than me. And I feel small.
You'd be hosting Jeopardy.
Laughing at me.
You'd be hosting Jeopardy if your voice wasn't like it is right now.
Look at them laughing at me. I feel like Andrew Schultz's co-host here, who's being dragged by the internet. The way these guys are
we're not gonna.
we're
not gonna do that to Akash, man.
We're not.
No,
the internet's not gonna do that.
The internet can do whatever, but we're not gonna do that here. I just
made the comparison. I made the comparison. I see Jeremy's face. Do you know how
Mike Yastrzemski has signed a 2-year contract with the Atlanta Braves.
He works hard.
It's a good player. Yastrzemski's grandkid.
He's a hard worker. What?
No, that is not nepotism. That's not
Toolsy.
grandpa nepotism. That Yastrzemski is signed to a 2-year deal by the Braves because his name is Yastrzemski. That's not what's happening there. I have to get to the Cyclones because you guys have a giant match on Friday. It's tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of people there, right? You guys are going to get we need everybody's support on this. We need Greg Cody to bring out a crowd. Mike, what are you guys doing on Friday? It's a normal time. It's open to the public. You got into the final. In a matinee game that was closed to the public. How are we going to get people out there for you tomorrow?
I need your support.
This one is very much open to the public. It is free to attend. It's going to be a great time at the Magic City Casino, the Fronton there. It's Cyclones. It's Devils. Wow. Amazing drinks, a great crowd. We are bringing the Clone Cartel out in full force. Yeah. It is going to be a circus. We have a lot of tricks up our sleeve. You're going to want to be there for this electric environment, and hopefully we can bring this home. Yeah. We can raise another banner. Yeah. We can win our second championship. We are favored to do so. Go Clones!
I need your support.
Go out mid-broadcast with sportscaster Dan Patrick of the Dan Patrick Show.
Let's bring in Dan Le Batard, host of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz. And Dan, good to see you.
It's always nice seeing you, Dan. I've got a little bit of chaos around me here. We've got a very electric, sort of vibrating Miami, and we're coming off of a historic United America last night, feeling very good about itself because they would be able to laugh at one city. Last night was a winning night for America. Either today would be about laughing at Boston fans or laughing at Miami fans, and America wins today. And here's the best part about it: America was going to win today no matter what. One hated fan base was going to allow you to laugh like that today. So congratulations to America.
Yeah, but I don't know if America hates the Miami Heat anymore.
No?
No.
We kind of need it. We kind of need it down here.
They hate Miami, Dan.
Oh, but not the Heat.
I believe that all things Miami are something that divide America.
Do you guys hate the Miami Heat? Like, Jimmy Butler's a great story, and Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent and Eric Spoelstra.
And we need the hate. We've been starved for the hate since 2010. Why are you not understanding what's happening around here?
Wait, the lights just went out on your show.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Haters.
What happened?
Haters.
Bring back our hate.
Okay. Well,
I'm sorry that the power has gone down here. I can still hear you, though, Dan. I can still hear you.
You never look better. I love it. Yeah.
Anybody got any matches?
Yeah. How about a candle?
Look,
Something.
I'm running a media empire here, Dan Patrick. This is a very exciting time in our history.
Man.
Everything shakes and creaks down here with the enthusiasm. We've lost all power down here, so I'm sorry this isn't a better televised affair.
Do you? Is this? I like it. I like it. I like it. By candlelight.
Can you see me? Okay. Can you see me? No.
Is this the Le Batard Blair Witch Project?
I'm sorry that I literally, after leaving ESPN, can't keep the lights on.
Stugotz, pay the bills for the man, will you?
You want me to pay the bills? Get out of here. I don't pay my own bills.
How big is Jimmy Butler? If we had power rankings in Miami. No. Our athlete power rankings. Is he a 1 seed?
Oh, yeah.
What do you?
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? Dan, you are doing the show I've always wanted to do. Power rankings for Jimmy Butler. I mean, God bless you. Man. 1 seed.
Yeah.
1A.
Okay. Over anybody with the Dolphins. Anybody else come into? Anybody from the Florida Panthers? You know?
Okay, you're talking about present or all time?
How about current? And then we could do all time.
Okay, but this is what we need to do if we're going to go to, Can
you put up a test pattern at least on your screen there, like something? It's just.
I buddy, I don't have control of the technology here.
This is embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. You don't think I'm embarrassed right now? Or do you think that I'm filled with buoyant champion pride right now?
This is why Mike Ryan left.
But he hasn't left. You just can't see him because he's got his head in his hands in the dark. I can see
Well,
it.
he's
He
going to
hasn't
be
left.
leaving. Yeah.
I'm leaving now.
Yeah. I'd get out. Get out while you can.
To answer your question, this is why it's funny, the question that you just asked. Yes, Jimmy Butler is in the process of trying to wrestle away the legacy and team of the Miami Heat from Dwayne Wade gave us the greatest feeling and LeBron James gave us the greatest feeling. However, in the last two games, Caleb Martin has been their star. Caleb Martin has been their best player. Over the last few games, our Michael Jordan has been outplayed by Caleb Martin over the last half of the
He
series.
should have been the MVP last night.
Well, that's Reggie Miller's fault. He said it on the broadcast again and again.
Why are you yelling? You don't even have lights on there. You don't even have the status to yell at me right now.
Because Reggie Miller told us on the broadcast last night.
Surprised the audio works there out of that studio. Good God. Goodness gracious. Man.
Can you see me at all?
No. It's a dark screen.
Why am I holding these lights to my face?
I can't.
Making me sweat.
He's
if
been
you
holding the
can't
phone
see
to his
me at
face
all.
for 15 minutes.
Dan, for 12 minutes.
There appear to be some things happening around here that are turning against Pablo Torre, and I'm sorry to say that Dominique Foxworth has now arrived armed with "I stand with Nick Wright" is what he texted me before we started this segment. He was also doing something, and I didn't realize it until he started doing it. He also has a great voice that sort of makes me feel a little bit impotent when he really says Bavakwa. When he goes and gets the Bavakwa, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is it extra fun to say the name Bavakwa? Because he did it in a fashion that made me feel he was going for sensual effortlessly. Go ahead and hit the people with your Bavakwa.
Bavakwa. It's just a great word.
Stronger. Yeah,
it's a great word. I have so much stuff to talk about with you guys, but before we get to all of that, I want to start with the first thing is, hello, Valerie. And from there, I'd like to say what you guys are doing here is incredibly impressive. Like, all jokes aside, the two different locations, a third location, I did a live show after games on Sunday from a few different locations. It's so hard. I know we give all the tech people a hard time and make fun of them all the time, but this is really kind of cool and impressive.
Thank you for saying so, Dominique, because I am proud, and I mentioned this earlier in the week, moved by the fact that we get to celebrate in New York the holiday party here this week as part of everything that we're doing that has Pablo coming under an avalanche of criticism today. Wozni Lambrey is tweeting. I don't know what your thoughts are on this, Pablo. He's a journalist, yes.
A journalist, yes. Mean is laughing a knowing laugh.
Oh no!
I once did. Can I? I love Woz. Woz and I have done any number of currently now legal drugs together. He's great.
Snitch.
He's great.
That is snitching.
It's legal.
That's snitching.
What's that? Just say we're friends. We hung out. Like
No. Because the context for our friendship is intimate. It is intimate.
You
And
can't
so-
snitch on an. That's not in. You're
I don't
describing
think I'm
intimacy
breaking
as
the
snitching.
news. I don't think I'm breaking the news that was. I mean, forgive me if
Don't
I
bring
am
Amin
breaking the
into
sacred
it.
Trust of Amin and Waz, and I go back
I
how
sure
many
How did
years?
Amin get dragged into this?
You guys don't know Waz, and Amin knows Waz
How
better
did
than
Amin
anybody,
get
and I know
dragged
Waz.
into
I know
snitching?
Waz.
And
I know
everybody's
Waz
turning on
incredibly
me.
well.
Not.
Have you ever smoked with him?
Have you done legal drugs with him?
There's
Wasney
deserve
Lambrey tweets the following,
deserve that.
quote, I just don't think the job of investigative reporting is some impossible feat. I think getting big media companies to pay for it is impossible. I watch every episode of Pablo's show, and he deserves all the glory he's gotten for making it a success. But the idea somebody as talented as Nick couldn't be really good at the job of investigative reporter if he dedicated himself to it just doesn't pass the smell test.
Look, I love Waz. I don't want to do the thing where I just say, like, you've never done it, and then you say, I did it once, and then I say, I apologize. Because that's happened, and it's happening on Twitter still today with Nick. My thing with all of this is, Dan, you make me be so unlikable. You do. You make me be so unlikable. The job of investigative reporter is a job that largely takes place in ways that no one can see. That's kind of the definition of it. And so I'm not saying that Nick or Waz or Dominique wouldn't be great at it if that's what you want to do, if that's what we're doing now. Who's hypothetically good at this? What I'm merely saying is that there are skills like lawyer. Dominique, hold on. Like Nick would be an amazing lawyer. And I have said that to him, and I will say that for anyone to hear. Journalist and lawyer are not the same job. And I will explain this very briefly. A lawyer will take a case that they know isn't true. That's the job. Argue to the best of your ability in defense or in prosecution of something that you have agreed to do because that is what your job is. A journalist is unfortunately constrained by this annoying thing called fact-checking. And so the reason I'm needling Nick on Twitter and the reason why I am needling everybody who brings this up and the reason why Dominique's putting his face in his hand is because it's hard to be the guy who's like, you got to get this stuff right and be challenged. And if you don't know what that's like all of the time, it's easy to say, oh, I could do that. It's a different thing to actually do it under threat of legal action perpetually.
Now imagine
Yes,
if Pablo
Dominique.
said what he just said in a voice that wasn't annoying.
Yeah, I mean, Dan does a really good job of making people seem annoying.
I think that I would say this, Pablo, is like I feel like there's a lot of bit happening and then we get really close to the truth and I can feel that you are very genuine in what you're saying. I'll give you some honest advice as a friend on or off the show is that you said a lot of the work that goes into it goes unseen. I think that's what makes you unlikable is that you want people to see it. And maybe this is the future of journalism where the journalist becomes the celebrity and the journalist has a show named after themselves and pounds their chest and says, look at what I did. It's so hard. No one else can do this. But I think that part of what is we all love or the people who do love and appreciate journalism is the story is about the truth. The story is not about the person who has found the truth. And maybe, again, this is me being an old man in the future of being a good journalist. And in order to get the funding and the credibility, if we're losing faith in old institutions, that you build up that reputation around an individual who people will trust and put money into. But don't pretend like you can't put yourself out there as a pioneer and pretend as if pioneers aren't going to get pilloried. Like that's the thing that's confusing to me is we all know this to be the case. And I don't know, like I suspect I'm someone who is supremely confident and I believe I can do just about everything. And I suspect that Nick Wright is the same way. But I don't think that I could do investigative journalism because I don't like talking to people that damn much. So what you're doing is great work. It's hard to do. Maybe Nick could do it. Maybe Nick can't. The fact that we're dwelling on it is irrelevant. The fact that you are like, look, I did this, give me an award. I think that's what makes you kind of hateable, honestly. And I love you. I don't hate you. I recognize the work is good. And I've given a justification for why it's the reason why you have to go about it in this new media way. but it's not going to be enjoyed because people are going to look at it and be like, hey, are you a journalist or are you a celebrity? And if you want to be both, maybe that's the future of it. I don't know. But we can go back to doing show and bits, but that's my honest assessment of what's happening.
Dominique, you are 2 years younger than Phillip Rivers. How's this going to go?
Poorly, I think. I don't know, man. Like, there's no way to argue that this could go. I think that we see Aaron Rodgers right now, who has not taken an extended break. We see how he wants to avoid getting hit. I assume the same thing will happen for Phillip Rivers. It's going to be really hard. And he's right. His athleticism's never been it. He's never had a super strong arm. If there's a quarterback who could produce from a diminished capacity, maybe it's someone like him who's a smart player and never really relied on rocket arm strength. However, getting off the couch, man. Y'all know how hard it is. Any of you who've been on the sideline of a college football game, a high-level high school football game, recognize that shit is fast, man. And I don't think you can get off the couch and just start cooking like that. So we'll see. I don't think it's going to go all that well. And his career ended not because he was tired of playing, because people was tired of paying him to play. So I'm guessing it's not going to go all that well.
From the very start, like, I couldn't believe that I'm reading headlines that he might go this Sunday. Like, that seems crazy to me. You can't go without playing an NFL game for 5 years and then start at quarterback.
That practice speed better be fast. Like, they got to go training camp level practice speed to get him into any shape to do this. I don't know a scenario. I think that you can scheme up some plays that'll work well for him. I wonder in an honest moment, how the rest of the locker room feels about this, because I would be concerned, but I guess they're also in desperation mode. Like, I look at a bunch of these teams right now, and a lot of them have similar records, but feel very differently. I'm guessing the Colts, who have a pretty strong record, their fan base and their team probably feels pretty terrible because now they're so desperate that I think, honestly, some of those players are probably pretty excited to have Phillip Rivers there, no matter how old he is, because it represents like some level of hope that I don't know that they had a couple weeks ago or a week ago. And even with Daniel Jones, before he got hurt, they were headed in the wrong direction. So it probably does represent a spark of hope that I think we all hope isn't extinguished immediately upon Phillip Rivers taking the first snap and having enormous men trying to kill him.
I know Phillip Rivers doesn't think he leaned on his athleticism when he was playing all that much because he wasn't this great gifted athlete. I think he's about to find out how much athleticism he had. I don't think you can afford to lose a half step, even if you only had a half step, Dominique.
I think you could argue that it's more important if you only had a half step to hold on to that half step. I think that there are so many other things in the game that you can rely on if you had a bunch of traits that were beneficial. You could find one of those other traits to rely on. I think Phillip Rivers, like, ability to read defenses. Honestly, I think the thing that Phillip Rivers had that was special was not only his size, but like that fire and intensity, which is hard to measure. And I don't know how that translates now if your body can't do the same things that it once did. And so I think the accuracy is probably going to be a little bit off. The speed's going to be a little bit off. And the speed, we don't pay as much attention to the speed of like evolution of defenses as we do offenses, because defense is a little bit more complicated. It's not on a screen. It's not as exciting. But the defenses that Phillip Rivers is going to face now are very different from the defenses that he saw pre-pandemic or during the pandemic. So I'm guessing that, yeah, the offensive plays and the system, he's going to understand that it's not going to be as difficult. But the things that he's going to see are not going to be things that he saw back then. Defenses change so fast, and from team to team, you're going to see drastically different looks. It's a lot harder. So, like, even if he was just as good as he was at the time when he retired, it's going to be a slightly different game. So I'm rooting for him. I'm an old guy. He's older than me, but I'm an old guy. Us old guys want these old guys to play well. But I ain't going to lie to myself. It would be a stunner if Phillip Rivers comes out there and is better than Riley Leonard.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Do old guys root for old guys in sports? You brought up fire and intensity. I will tell you, I've been bitterly cold all week. So cold. Put this on the poll as well. Does your skin get itchy past a certain point in cold? Because my skin is itchy from the cold, inside or outdoors. But when you bring up fire and intensity, I have felt for the last 5 minutes in the studio the first warmth I have felt my entire time in New York. And no, it's not positive warmth. It's because of how Pablo is steaming at the fact that Mike Ryan was so done with this journalism conversation.
Riley Leonard.
That he talked about Phillip Rivers at 44 years old to get off of the subject that Pablo, I don't think, is done with as he's taking a beating from everyone, including Dominique.
You got to be done.
While doing the work that's so important that I also want the work that he's doing seen. The weird thing that's happening, though, is the work is getting universal praise.
Dan.
It's Pablo that's not getting
Dan, Pablo, stop. Dan.
Go ahead.
Dan.
Go ahead, Dominique.
I'm not letting you off the hook. Dan, you're doing this. The problem that I'm laying out for Pablo is he can't be the one celebrating how hard his work is or how great he is or how important it is or how noble it is like this or how much he wants everyone else to do this. Like no one ever is made to look good by being the one celebrating themselves. So Paulo, let me finish. I'm on your side right now. So Dan, if you care about this, you need to be the one fighting the fight for Pablo. Someone else needs to be one fighting the fight for Pablo. You'll never win if you're out there telling everyone they're not as good as me. I'm doing such noble work. I wish people would do what I'm doing. Pablo, you can't win that fight. Nobody is that charismatic or likable to be able to trumpet how impressive and great and grandiose they are and still be likable. Dan wants it to happen, but he wants you to do it. Dan, you do it. Tell us how great Pablo is.
Or Pablo could do it with a cooler voice.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, I still don't think it's gonna work. I don't know. Mobb Deep though, that shirt is.
What? Dude, is this better? Is this better if I talk like this?
No,
Dominique?
that's worse. That's worse. Stop doing it.
Okay, very good.
Listen, the thing of Dominique's totally
give it to me.
Jeremy Taché has officially won his third Emmy.
Whoa, for real? Wow.
Hey, congratulations. Hey.
I'm good at journalism too, Pablo.
Despite the voice, huh?
I hate this show. I hate that my fake voice sounded like Jeremy's modulated voice. Dominique's right. He's right about that. He's totally right about that.
Don't do it. You're going to say however and then start saying words.
However, the thing that he said before is wrong. The thing he said before is wrong. Like, why am I arguing with people? It's because the only way to cut through an internet.
The Chicago White Sox have landed the #1 pick in the 2026 MLB draft. The Tampa Bay Rays, Dan's beloved Rays, will have the second pick.
Pablo couldn't even congratulate you. That was sickening.
The Black Pope will be real happy. Y'all know the Pope is black, right?
Do you know how poorly you stand on the wrong side of an argument when Dominique Foxworth is on this show in the middle of the day telling everyone in America that people shouldn't celebrate themselves?
The fact that a cornerback is telling me that too much celebrating is going to be a bad thing for your career is just too much.
It's the type of celebrating that you're doing, Pablo, and I get it.
This is okay. So this
I'm
is
telling you.
Number one, Dan making me trumpet my own shit is deeply unlikable. Totally agree.
And also, so hold up before you go, saying because I'm trying to help you, Pablo. Me attacking you is going to help you. You don't realize this. It's like you don't understand how people work. It's like you've been in the media business for all this time and don't realize. Have you ever watched a TV show, a movie, like anything, any sort of entertainment? You are digging your hole deeper and deeper. One thing that you should never do is say, you know what, you can't do what I do. Like,
But besides the fact that Nick and I were both saying that to each other, that aside.
Right.
The point of why am I the person who puts his name in his show? Why am I out here arguing with Mark Cuban and Bill Simmons and Nick Wright and now everybody is because that is the only way to cut through because no one gives a shit about journalism. It is a I hate to break the bit for a second. That is why I do it.
I get it, Pablo. I get it. But then don't complain about nobody likes me. They should respect. Like that's the part.
That's the part of I can argue with people, but I have to lose every argument is not a great strategy either, Dominique. So I don't know how to square that circle.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, what you got?
No, just say your point concisely, real quick. Do it.
I need to draw attention to the work by being out there talking about it with my own voice.
I didn't get it, Pablo. You nailed that, man. I think we've all been wrong. Appreciate you, brother.
Zaslow has yawned 3 times. Yeah, Zaslow has yawned 3. Zaslow, who's also a journalist, we have established that officially.
What up, head?
He's a judge. Zaslow, let's get a ruling.
Yo,
from
tired
you.
of hearing everybody say I got a big old head.
Big ass head, boy.
Let's get a ruling from you, Zaslow. Can we get the imaging, please, on Zaslow's
Somebody's going to let that slide.
A ruling.
He's going to laugh with that.
On
All
whether
rise,
or not
the Honorable Jonathan Zaslow now presiding with prejudice.
I'd like to get a ruling on whether Zaslow believes he could do what Pablo does, because Zaslow is also a journalist.
Let me tell you something. I'm a journalist, but I'm like low-level journalist, all right? I'm a journalist of the things that I want to get to the bottom of. Pablo is digging deep into stuff that I don't even understand, and I lose my train of thought, and I cannot do what Pablo does. I got to admit.
Whoa. So what's the ruling?
That also felt pretty good.
So my ruling is, is the question whether or not I can do what Pablo does?
Yes.
No. With prejudice. Wow. I cannot.
Thank you, Zaslow.
And by the way, I'll also add, Nick Wright absolutely cannot do what Pablo does either. I mean, you saw the way I dominated him again yesterday when we were talking about LeBron. That was embarrassing. Sorry, Nick.
So you may have heard underneath all of that, Pablo whimper, "Why can't I talk?" And Roy, that will allow you to play that sound again. I don't know. Why can't you talk? Why is that the way that you talk when you're trying to make the argument on behalf of journalism?
I don't think I've had a better year professionally in my life or felt dumber at the same time.
There is a lot of stuff to talk about in sports and in football with Dominique. And I just I want to talk carefully with the details we have, not the details the internet has, the details that we have that are verifiable on Michigan's entire situation, okay? I got in trouble a long time ago at ESPN because, and this would have been, I'm going to say 20 years ago, I said that generally speaking in football, and this was quantifiable at the time, all of a sudden when championships were being won at college football programs, there were always sirens very near the huddle, arrests very near the huddle. There was a correlation between Colorado winning the national championship in 1990 and Sports Illustrated reporting that like a third of their roster had been arrested. Now Michigan has an assortment of junk around its program, and it's all administrator-based. It's not the players that are getting in trouble. It's an assortment of the people in charge. And so what are you comfortable deducing from the Sharon Moore situation in Michigan, given the details that we have? He has been fired for an inappropriate relationship with a staffer. That's what the university released. And shortly thereafter, he was in custody for an alleged assault. What's fair to discuss here with the information we have now, Dominique?
Right. I appreciate that setup because it's not much that we can say about that situation. Now, the stuff is out there and nothing I can say is more interesting than the speculation that people are currently reading on the internet. But what struck me is having been around football, and it's not just football, having been around like any professional setting, my guess is that there are a lot of coaches out there that are pretty nervous right now. Like it's something about being in the workplace with people that it's going to happen. These things will happen. The fact that it's a public position is going to get a bunch of attention, and that it like escalated into a more and more salacious version of the story. And I think this is funny, dovetailing off of the journalism conversation, is because like this is part of the reason why like real journalism is important, because there's so much speculation out there about what's happening. And it's so damaging to the people that are not even directly involved, but tangentially involved. And of course, it's damaging to the people that are involved, especially like the staffer whose name is in it, the kids who may be involved, the wife that's in it. Like, this is all just stuff that we do on the internet. And in an age where I know, to go back into a different conversation from a couple of days ago, where the AI does so many more things that it just feels like nothing feels true. And so if there is someone out there or a group of people who have built up the credibility that we can trust what they are saying, like, that holds value. It used to be at one point that the check mark on Twitter meant something. It meant nothing else anymore. And one thing that you can't really fake is a person's identity. And if there's someone that has put in the work and done the hours and taken the time away from their family to build up a track record of credible reporting inside sports, like, that's hugely valuable. And it's funny because I would say in a time like today, it's a reminder how important that journalism is. But, like, honestly, every single day, every week, there's a new reason why the journalism is valuable. We can go back to the college football playoffs. I would love if there was somebody who was available that was steeped in college football, but didn't have their interests conflicted by not wanting to piss people off or not wanting to upset the TV partner or not wanting to lose their access, but would be willing to burn relationships to tell us what actually is discussed behind those closed doors. Like, all of sports and all of professional life needs that type of journalism.
Michigan's got recruiting violations, illegal scouting scandal. They got Matt Weiss, one of the co-offensive coordinators, indicted for almost 10 years of downloading pictures of female athletes. And now this. How many do I have to put in front of you when I look at the leadership at Michigan and say, my God, rotten to the core? How many of these scandals do I have to give you before you say Michigan sold its soul for that championship?
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting question, because I'm not sure that, and this is, again, like, we don't know what's going on, and you don't want to incriminate any institutions that are not currently incriminated, but it's hard to imagine that Michigan is operating in a way that is so different from all of the rest of their peers. I don't know. It always surprises me when there's a team or a company or someone who's having disproportionate success. And Michigan's not even the most successful program in the country. Like, that changes from time to time, but the sloppiness that is involved in what's happened around Michigan and all the things, like, not just including this most recent situation, like, all of that sloppiness does not suggest to me that they are the most well-run and effective organization. And so I'm sure that there are issues at a bunch of different places. There's no way to completely clean all of this stuff up, especially when the incentives lie in such a way that the people, at least with the most power, are also the people who have the highest incentive to, like, manipulate this process. And that's, like, why a counterbalance is needed. And we'll get to union talk and all other things that I think are important.
When you say, though, I'm sure there are a lot of issues at a lot of other programs, I was really stunned to hear the number 7 arrested staffers since from the Harbaugh regime. Like, 7? That's a crazy number.
Yeah, 7
arrested staffers.
7 staffers have been arrested since the hiring of Jim Harbaugh. I believe 4 have been banned for rules violations since the hiring of Jim Harbaugh. There's a lot of online conjecture that you have to be responsible about, but there were it turned out to be reputable reporters, at least on this beat, that have been alluding to this for months. And this crescendo for Sherrone Moore may not actually be that. It could be a tip of the iceberg type of story, given Michigan's history here.
Yeah, Sorry, go ahead, Bob.
No, Dominique, I was just going to say that, like, when you think about the power and the money behind Michigan, it's just worth pointing out that it is arguably the greatest in sports, because one of their biggest boosters is Larry Ellison, who's the founder of Oracle, who's literally currently the richest man in the world, who's bidding for Netflix. Like, the question of, like, who's involved in the story of Michigan, who's funding it, I have no idea if Larry Ellison knows anything. All I'm saying is that we are dealing with the extreme end, the deepest part of the pool, Dominique, when it comes to where money is coming from. And that's part of the story, too.
But I'm not talking. 7 staffers doesn't include Connor Stallions. He wasn't arrested for anything, was he?
Or Alex Yude, who I don't believe was arrested either, but was dismissed.
What craziness is that, Dominique? You don't get staffers in mass arrested when a guy was only, since Harbaugh was hired, that wasn't that long ago.
I would just say that traditionally, what I like to do in any situation is look at the incentives. And like the incentives don't lie with following these rules. And there aren't really great regulatory bodies, and not just the rules inside the game, but the laws outside the game. Also, like that, it seems like it comes down to, in college sports, winning, in most sports, winning and success trumps just about everything else. And like, I certainly don't want to suggest that things would be different if Moore was more successful, but it seems to me that these things start to fall apart when around teams that are not having the success that they are expected to have. And so like, I'm not surprised when these things come out. And I don't think any of us are. Like, as shocking as this news was last night, suggesting to you that a football coach has a relationship with someone who works in the staff, like, I don't know. Maybe this is just because I've been around football my whole life. That's not surprising me. My guess is that it's not shocking to you either if I told you that a coach of a power program had a relationship with someone on the staff. That's not the shocking part. And then all these individual things, like, we can go back to like Penn State, like, to suggest that someone is downloading photographs, like, that's not surprising. People do terrible things, and when you are in a successful program, it tends to be the case that you get the protection that you want until you no longer have that success. Then the protection goes away.
When you think of college sports power getting in trouble for this kind of thing, put in front of you Ime Udoka, Mike Price, Mel Tucker, Hugh Freeze, Rick Pitino, Bobby Petrino, which is the one that is the most memorable of the crimes of morality? Is it Petrino? Is it Patino? One of my favorites was Sports Illustrated reporting some of the details. This is Sports Illustrated reporting on Mike Price. Lost the Alabama job. Pretty good job to have. Lost the Alabama job before coaching a game. And Sports Illustrated reported that by talking to one of the women involved in the sexual escapade, that the women were saying "Roll Tide," and Mike Price was shouting, "Oh, it's rolling." That's Sports Illustrated. That's not internet conjecture. That's a place where Pablo, who loves journalism, did fact-checking. That's where Pablo's career started. That is not a made-up story. Those are quotes.
Maybe it's because I'm a longtime listener of this show, but Patino and Petrino stand out in my mind because those are two things that you guys never let die, so they seem incredibly important. Had you chosen to reiterate the Roll Tide thing over a decade plus, maybe I would have known and remembered that and had that more close to my memory, but I mean, that picture of you dressed up like Bobby Petrino is great, and all the jokes that you guys made about Patino, his 60 seconds of hell, like that.
15. 15 seconds.
Oh, 15?
15 seconds.
Oh, what a selfish person.
Patino. I'm a Patino guy on that. I mean, I when I was at Sports Illustrated, that was a story I reported. It's crazy in ways that I think people don't appreciate. It's crazy in ways that they don't get, because that woman, Karen Cipher, of the 15 seconds story, she ended up marrying Rick Pitino's right-hand man.
Dad.
And she was part of, like, the program.
Pablo, you're with Pitino on that one?
Yeah.
You did say that. You didn't say I vote for Patino here. You said I'm with Patino on 15 seconds. I think that's why Dominique's head is in his hands. That's why.
That, and also he said a story I reported when I was at Sports
There it
Illustrated.
is.
Like,
That's the one.
You guys, Dan was
I like
checked
that.
out.
I like that, actually.
Glazed eyes completely.
I was down with
But
that.
I visited Karen Cipher's house. I interviewed her in her house. I went to the courtroom. I did. But it's like, we.
Ime Udoka needs to get some attention here because they immediately won the championship. Like that, these are good jobs. These are good careers. Ime Udoka actually survived it and ends up being fine. But the job that he gave up, I'm comfortable saying that Ime Udoka, that scandal cost him a championship. None of the others did.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it didn't cost him a career though. So, I given what's happened in Michigan, I don't imagine that Moore is going to get another opportunity to be a coach of any kind anywhere. Like let alone a head coach from your dream job. So, like that's the part there that he's even more like, I guess, problematic or damaging or penalizing and painful. So like, yeah, having not been there for the championship that came later is one thing for a team that it seemed like your personality really helped to improve and develop and mature into a championship. Like that hurts, but it's different. You go somewhere else. His career goes on. He's still a very coveted and respected coach. He's going to win a championship at some point or have decades to possibly do that. Moore gonna have to find a new career like this. I don't know. No one's gonna let him in their building, I think, and hope that he represents their program. Maybe he can start as a position coach at a low-level team and work his way back up. But his career is forever altered. Bobby Petrino, nah, not so much. Take a little break. Come on back.
Mike, can you help me with some timeline stuff here so that I could be maximum responsible on what Michigan knew and when Michigan knew it? Because to me, it felt suspicious just getting information the way everyone else got it, which is the first news is Moore fired, inappropriate relationship with a staffer that is sent out by the university. And then hours later, the news, he's in custody. He's been arrested. I jumped to the conclusion that Michigan did that preventatively. They're saying this is the part that we know about. We're getting out of this entirely. They had to know that an arrest was coming if it happened if that announcement came a couple of hours before the actual in custody.
No, I think you're speculating there. Internet conjecture suggests that this stuff started breaking and that stuff was like closely aligned. I don't think what you alluded to there, though sensical, actually played out that way. But there are reporters out there, and people may not be thrilled with how they go about this because it is coded in some like Michigan State homerism, but there was a guy out there by the name of Justin Spiro that for months was alluding to this. And if you do some internet sleuthing, you can see amongst Ohio State fans, amongst Michigan State fans, this was something that was gossiped about for a long time. And while irresponsible, with the benefit of hindsight, these people knew something. And I guess now the real digging will be done on what did Michigan know, because that's going to be important, especially when you apply their previous history on the matter.
Why is it important?
Because if Michigan engaged in any sort of cover-up, you could see how that would be especially problematic for that program given the recent scrutiny.
Dominique, are you okay with the idea of America at large just saying of Michigan, probably for the first time ever, dirty program?
I mean, sure, go ahead. Like I don't have any. I have no reason to defend Michigan. I guess my problem with having this Michigan-focused conversation is that I don't know that program well enough to say anything definitive, and I tend to believe that people in general aren't very different from place to place, from organization to organization. And of course, there are some extremes in this case, but it does feel like this attention is going here. And also, like the point that I brought up earlier, and again, maybe it's maybe they are more in leadership there. Maybe they are more responsible than other places. But what it's always come down to, in my experience, is like, if your talent is there and success is there, we find ways to work around whatever issues you may have. And it's an unfortunate reality. And maybe I'm jaded. I'd hope to come back from this at some point and be have more faith in any of our institutions, honestly. But that tends to be the case, especially in sports. We've turned and looked the other way on so many things because people have had success until you can no longer do it anymore. And maybe that's the case.
It is a sad reality, Dominique, that if he beats Ohio State, maybe this never sees the light of day.
if they're 15-0 again, like I don't know that it would be an immediate firing. Maybe they would have their hand forced eventually, but the conversation would take a lot longer. Like
what do you think the ChatGPT data was from coaches all across America and all level of sport trying to find out if they could get fired for this sort of thing was?
I can't do that.
I
That's
have
wrong.
a number of questions before we get out of here. So rapid fire. Yes or no, Jalen Hurts will be the Eagles quarterback next year?
Yes.
AFC this year is going to be won by blank.
Bills.
Cam Newton says he was offended the Colts signed Phillip Rivers before even calling him, saying it's a slap in my face. Was it?
Yes.
Did Derrick Henry indeed knock out Malik Harrison with his elbow, even though Malik Harrison was wearing a helmet?
Yes.
Did you know that someone could be knocked out by another person's elbow even though they're wearing a helmet?
Yes, I've known it. I've seen it happen before. But I heard earlier in the show you were talking about cold and pain, and I was thinking about how the pain threshold is, to me at least, at a certain point, then everything over that hurts. And there's only been 2 times in my career where I had a level of pain that I wanted to report on, that I wanted someone else to know about. One was trying to tackle Steven Jackson with just one arm. I threw my arm into his legs, and it felt like a lawnmower ran over my arm. And the other time was when Eddie Royal blindside blocked me in the chest, and I got up and coughed up blood, missed one play, and came back in. Those are the only times in my football playing career. Oh, also when I was like 14 years old in the championship game, I got hit and like one eye got stuck and I couldn't move it for a couple of seconds. It was like I was cross-eyed for a couple of seconds. Blink, 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 straightened it up. 80-yard touchdown.
Steven Jackson ran so hard for 2.5 years. That description by you was great. It was like sticking my arm in a lawnmower that I just put my hand between his legs.
That's a better brag, admittedly. Nobody's better at bragging than me.
It's not bragging. How is it a brag? I was a nickel at that point, and I played I was a smaller guy, but I was physical. I wasn't scared to tackle. I had a game in Denver where I was hyperventilating after the game, and I think I had like 9 or 10 tackles, and it's because their game plan was obviously this undersized nickel. We're going to run at him all game, but I made the tackles. But in that situation, you have a blocker on, you try to shed the blocker, and all you have is one arm, so you throw it out there, and for most people, they can't run through an arm. It's going to trip them up. Man, didn't even notice that thing was there. And my arm just, I pulled that thing out so fast it felt like hell.
Undersized nickel.
Watch it, Dan. Watch it.
See you later, Dominic. Good seeing you. I just was clarifying. It was unclear. You didn't speak clearly, and I just wanted to make sure.
I can say it whatever I want to say. I can say it. You're lucky. I might end this show.
See you later, Dominic. The Dominic Foxworth Show.
Be careful. You and Amin. Take care of yourself.
All right, man.
All right. Be safe, fellas.
See you later. See you later.
I've never been undersized.
Last day. When you guys make big announcements, are you one that just likes to rip the Band-Aid off or really just drag this out? Like, if you had something really important to say in this segment, would you just say it right now? Or would you, let's have a segment, have a little conversation, and then
what do you
build
mean
up
big
to it?
announcements? Like, what kind of big announcements?
I don't know. I'm just saying if hypothetically someone wanted to announce something in here.
Announce like
Whitty,
what,
if you
though?
wanted to announce something, would you just are you rip the Band-Aid off kind of guy?
I think I am. I don't like to drag things out.
Get right to the point.
Get right to the point.
But why are you guys talking about big announcements?
Because I just like to talk about life sometimes, and we all have big announcements to make sometimes.
You never know.
And I just like to I like to go around the room, get a feel for how people like audience. How do you like? We're gonna give a little 10 seconds of silence here, so everyone in the audience can say how they handle big announcements. All right, so audience, when you have a big announcement, are you a rip the Band-Aid type, or do you slow burn? Shh.
Wow.
This is a callback to Naked Chris, by the way. I used to do this with Naked Chris.
You guys are so uncomfortable with silence, you couldn't get through 4 seconds.
We've been in radio for a long time, Dan.
We're ready to go. Dan and I were ready for 10 seconds.
So I still don't understand what you're doing, though. What are we making a big announcement here? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, we are.
But who's making it? Is Chris Cody making it? I mean,
I am making a big announcement. Well,
okay.
I don't like to classify my own announcements as big or not big.
Wait a minute.
I'll leave that to you guys.
I started this segment, and there's actually an announcement that needs to be made.
What are the chances?
Wow.
Good at this. All right, so
it was really poor acting.
Spoiler alert.
What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, Chris Cody is correct. He has indeed broken my news. I will no longer be the executive producer of this program. I took over that job like a year and a half ago, but yeah, I will indeed be leaving that. And I have decided to commit fully to my play-by-play role, which I have recently begun with Apple. And I will no longer, well, I don't want to say no longer, because I'll still be around here at Meadowlark. We're working on a project that I will be a part of. But in terms of regular daily involvement on this show, that comes to a conclusion today. I'll still be around. Like, I think every once in a while, I'll still kind of.
They're hugging you.
Yes.
Did you have a different way of doing this before Chris Cody got involved?
No, I didn't write anything. I was going to say it just as awkwardly.
Some people would argue that you presided over the single worst era of the Le Batard Show with Stugotz.
And if that is...
That was Andy King, year 1.
Oh, no.
Not Andy's fault. Not Andy's fault. No. My fault and Dan's fault. Not Andy's fault. Okay?
Or Andy King. All right. So I come in.
It's
our
our fault, not Andy King's. I said it.
I come in third then. That's fine. But if that's on my tombstone, at the very least, I got to say, I work with you, tremendous group of people. I love you all. I will miss you all.
Well, rank us.
Hold on. Before we get to making this awkward and syrupy, we are very happy for you because when you started over here, you are now embarking on what is your dream job, correct? This is, and for those who do not know, we have known Whittingham since he was a young broadcaster in college, heard him on a WVUM game, and he was exceptional, noticed him that he was good at the art of play-by-play, and so you bailed us out during a really turbulent, difficult time by coming over here and simply being helpful at a time, and we still need the help because we're going to miss you, but you're getting your dream job. This is, and you want to devote yourself to it because you can't, people don't understand how consuming these jobs are. They think Joe Buck shows up and can just fart out 4 hours, and that's not how it works.
Yeah, I didn't, honestly, because when I got it, I was like, all right, this works out perfectly. Fly out on a Friday, do the game on a Saturday, fly back on a Sunday, do the show Monday to Thursday. It'll be fine. It'll work out great. And then you get into doing it, it's like, whoa, this is a lot. So, I've embarked on a couple trips, and it kind of proved to be too much for me. And I kind of decided that, this is absolutely my dream job. And, working more towards this and being able to do it better is really important to me. So, I'll still be kind of hanging around in case anyone needs me for anything. But in terms of regular involvement in the show, and I actually, Dan, in honor, I have a top 5 list if you want it.
Wow!
On the way out here, as sort of a memento to leave behind.
Okay, so this is a top 5 list on one of the worst eras ever of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz, surpassed only by Andy King. Although Stugotz says it's my fault and his fault.
Yes.
By the way, those 3 weeks when I started in between ESPN and just doing a podcast the next day, one of the craziest 3 weeks of my life. That was batshit crazy.
The whole thing has been batshit crazy. Again, I remind you, don't start a business during a pandemic. What is the top 5?
All right, the top 5 list. I like to annoy you guys with my British expressions. And I kind of revealed them one at a time. And I got people saying, not from E. Clive. And I got people saying...
unwelcome additions to the show. Yes.
Right. So I have a top 5 list of British expressions that I haven't gotten to yet. that I was going to over the course of time, but I didn't get to.
It's the perfect way for you to go out.
In that it's terrible. It's maximum fancy lad. He's 100% Colombian, not British in any way. It just doesn't make any sense in any way, except that he wishes to be like their people.
I do have a Welsh last name. Just saying.
It's weird. I think I'm shocking people right now, telling them that Chris Whittingham is 100% Colombiano.
It's a fake last name.
It's.
I mean, that's harsh.
Anyway, number 5.
Well, I have 2 OLIs. First, I never got to say that I was going on vacation by saying I'm going on holiday.
Jesus. I said it to you often.
Everyone is just shaking their heads. Sadly, but not because you're leaving. Sadly, because this has to be the end.
All right. I never got to say that I was eating cookies by saying I'm having a biscuit.
Chris Cody, I'm looking at the faces here. You are getting at the very end.
Glad he's leaving.
No buy-in from anybody. Number 5.
I never got to describe someone that was very pale as being albino.
Number 4, one of the strangest dismounts in the history of goodbyes.
I never got to say that people driving a pickup truck drive lorries.
Unfortunate.
I never got to say that where we park our cars is a urine-smelling garage.
Cody, how do you feel about how this goodbye is going?
It's his goodbye.
Yeah, I feel great about it, and I don't want to step on his lines here, but when I take over as executive producer, as soon as Woody teaches me all the buttons, I'm going to really give it my all. So, Woody, thank you for leaving me that job.
I've been told you're in the running, Greg.
Number 2.
Never got to describe something in quotes, as in inverted commas.
Is Pablo Torre coming in to be the executive producer of the show? Is that what
he's also in contention.
What he was hired for? Number 1.
I never got to describe Juju Gotti's incredible sneakers as trainers.
Wow. Go sit in the penalty box.
Bye.
Whoa.
Forever.
Forever. Love you.
Lifetime.
Forever.
Lifetime ban.
Lifetime major.
I'm just gonna come in a month and just go sit there for an hour and then leave.
It'd be great if you're just always there.
Just put a cardboard cut.
Almost got to the end.
Whenever someone goes to the box, you have to be a cardboard cutout.
His dreams by a lifetime major. How unfortunate on the way out.
You have to do that.
A prison at the end.
Jessica says goodbye to Chris Whittingham.
Jessica has compiled for us a list. I mean, because I don't want to say she is thrilled that Whitty is gone. I would not allege such a thing. But there were sparks created in the tensions of Whitty just generally being annoying and unusual. And I think being more comfortable than anybody in the history of our show showing everybody his weirdnesses.
I love this, that we're just burying him on the day after he leaves.
Well,
we should do this more often.
Do it when he's here.
Enough. No, he's going
We
around.
did, to be fair.
He's taking
I know,
a
I'm
victory lap, and he's like, waving at everybody like, and Mike is calling him one of the greatest human beings he's ever met, and enough.
Well, he is.
Hold on. Enough with the kid's 30. Enough with the
Left
eulogy.
me in a lurch, though.
Yeah, that's a great human being for you. Hey, Mike, hold this steaming bag of shit for me. Will I go blow up somewhere else?
I have never heard someone describe themselves as a steaming bag of shit.
Oh, wait, I'm not. What?
You're in the middle of what we're doing. How do you get?
How do you think we got steaming?
We were just a bag of shit, and then you just got here, and the thing really caught fire. Top 5 weirdest things about Chris Whittingham. Is that what the list is?
Well, I decided to make it the top 5 revelations that we learned about Whitty over the last 2 years. He will be missed. Like you said, Dan, we often bickered on air because he could be very disagreeable and contrarian at times. And as a grumpy person, I tended to argue back with him constantly.
OLI? Do we have OLI?
We have one OLI.
Because
Nice.
he gave us so many weirdnesses. And one of the things I truly loved about Whitty, I do past tense there because I no longer love him.
Yes, that's right.
But he is alive,
Loved.
right?
One of the things I loved about
$50
Whitty is
his great comfort in, yes, that's weird about me. You think it's weird, and I don't care that you think it's weird.
Exactly.
OLI.
He wore 2 watches.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, I
He
could never
did.
get over that one.
Yeah, at
That's
the
only an OLI because he revealed it to us 2 weeks ago. Apple sent him a watch when they hired him.
watch.
And he decided to wear that on one wrist and his wrist watch on the other wrist.
He says he's going to do it going forward, period, that he likes it as a stylistic choice.
Of course he does.
Number
Weirdo.
5. Double bubble fucks him up.
That's right. He ate his gum.
He would swallow
He
his
would
gum
swallow
every time.
his
Oh, that
gum.
didn't even make the list. I forgot about that one.
Well, that's why it fucks him up.
Well,
Wait a second. He would swallow
Every
his
piece
gum?
of gum he's ever had, he swallowed.
He eats all his gum.
That can't be healthy.
But that's not
Well,
even
that's why he says it fucks him up.
But that's not
that's not
what
why.
Jessica's saying.
That's not why. The double bubble has so much sugar that it fucks him up. And it gives him a headache, and he can't eat double bubble. He revealed that on Mystery Crate last year during our candy draft.
Maybe if he didn't eat it, to Mike's point.
It's why it fucks him up.
I think they're separate revelations, though. I screwed up. That should have been number 5. That he swallows all his gum.
That is a ton of sugar, though, is it not? Double bubble is a specific burst of fireworks of sugar.
It's awesome.
More than most gum.
I'm about to throw up.
What is the best gum?
None of them. They're all terrible.
What?
I hate
What do you mean
gum.
by that?
Bazooka.
I hate
No.
gum.
Bazooka is my favorite
Bubblicious.
gum.
No, Bubblicious. Bubblicious. Or what's the one with the juice in the inside? When you take a bite, it like
The fruit.
Gushers.
the fruit
gushers.
ones?
There you
No,
go.
that's not gum.
Something else. I think that is Bubblicious.
There's one that's a gum that
There is
has-
something that has like a jelly
No.
in it. Yes,
Yeah.
it's just a burst of extra syrupy sugar.
Yeah.
How about Big League Chew?
Big
I
League
love
Chew's
that.
good.
Nasty.
But for
Little
30
bag of
seconds.
Big League
After
Chew.
30 seconds.
Everyone's
Gone.
grandma
30
likes Big
seconds.
Red, right?
Yeah.
Big
My grandma used to eat
Red's good.
cinnamon gum, and it would
Yeah.
burn the shit out of
So,
my tongue,
when
and I
we
would
tra-
still eat it.
When we traded for Shaq, the first game, he beckons me over. Shaq has this weird thing where he doesn't want to talk sometimes.
Big Aristotle.
So he just literally beckons me over with one finger. And I say, yeah, big fella, what do you need? And he goes, he points to his mouth and he goes, and I'm like, you want gum? Like, and he nods. I'm like, okay, so I go get the gum basket or whatever. He looks at it, he's like, what is this bullshit? I said, what? I need Big Red. I'm like, well, I didn't know. I've got this Orbit cinnamon one. She's like, no, I need Big Red. So I had to leave. We had a game. I left. I went to a gas station to go buy some Big Red, right? I come back. He's already played, game's over. So the next game, I bring him the Big Red. He's like, no. Bring me the Orbit. Because he had a good game when he had the Orbit. Big Red, piece of shit gum.
Wow. Hubba Bubba Max is the one with the juicy explosion.
No, Big Red is terrible, and I think my grandma only eats it because she has old taste buds and needs to feel something.
She's like a coal miner, right? And that's the only way she could taste is if it's burning.
She's not a coal miner. But
Okay. Well, I mean, I just figured.
The only 3 seconds that fruit stripe gum
It's a
lasts
good guess.
is a good 3 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Put
Fair.
it
My
on
grandfather
the
was a
poll,
coal miner.
please, at Le Batard Show. Is Orbits the shittiest of the gum?
No.
How do you feel? Or is Orbits
Now
a
you've gone
shitty
too
gum?
far.
What did you say? You said
I didn't say it was. That's what Shaq said. What is this bullshit?
It's put on the poll as well at Le Batard Show. Big Red, do you like it or do you not like it? And I still don't think we have a classification, a definitive consensus on what is the best gum.
Oh, we found one right here workshopping it. 5 gum.
What?
5 gum
Yeah.
does the job.
Oh,
and it
no.
lasts
Forever.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
It's that's so
Shipping
bland.
container aligned.
Yep.
It's like 5 gum is good because I'm just trying to keep my breath fresh. It's not because it's
This
got a
is the
bunch of
purpose of gum.
no,
It's the point.
no.
It's a sole purpose
I
of
chewed it
gum.
for a week once.
What do you mean, no, it's not
No,
the purpose of gum? And what do you mean you chewed it for a week
The
once?
flavor was so good, I chewed it for a week.
There's no way.
And the flavor was still there.
Not the
Monday to Friday.
same
It's the
piece of
longest
gum.
you
You
slept with
I
it.
know,
I
you
mean-
kept changing gums.
Found our new
That's
Whittingham.
not true. You didn't sleep. You just kept the
A
gum in your
week.
mouth. You brush your teeth.
I
you
put it to
take
the side. Put it to the side. Come back.
Right.
Keep
Well,
getting
it's
The
called
taste
5.
is the same.
That's how long.
5 days a week, Daniel.
It's the deadpan serious look on his face when he's
Yes, well, Whittingham has left the lane open for weirdness, and now Tony is here
That's
to
not that
fill
weird.
it.
That's not that weird.
how's the rest of that list going, by the way?
We'll get to number 4 in a second. I just do want to stop on Stugotz.
A week.
I want to stop on Stugotz.
much like Cuba is stuck in the 1950s.
We're stuck on number 5
with Russian lattes. Stugotz is stuck in the 80s with Big League Chew and Bazooka gum.
So good.
He's just
Bazooka sucks.
Bazooka's terrible.
Yeah.
I love Bazooka. I'm sorry.
Did you
Bring
read
me
the
back to a better
comics?
time.
You read some of the comics? Bazooka Joe, right?
No, I didn't read anything, but I just like the gum.
It wasn't the gum wrapped in a comic?
Yeah, but I don't read.
He's allergic.
I know it's short, but
allergic to reading.
Get to the gum.
It's short in cartoons, and he can't even be bothered with that. Number 4, Jessica.
He's never eaten a Snickers. He ate his first Snickers last fall because we made him eat one after Mystery Crate.
Tell me he did it with a knife and fork.
No George Costanza.
Number 3.
He tucked a napkin into his bow tie. Number 3, he has a playlist in his car that is supposed to be agreeable for a large swath of people that he plays when someone new is in his car so that he doesn't offend them with any sort of specific music type.
It's called the Mutually Agreeable Playlist.
He's prepared for everything.
It's like ChatGPT.
He's like a little corporation in a person's body.
I'm starting to miss him.
I know.
Number 2.
He gels his hair before bed.
There's something. Hold on. I gotta.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
So this is a story from Dan Wolken and Yahoo Sports. After learning of Notre Dame's Memorandum of Understanding that grants the Irish preferential playoff access starting next year, athletic directors in other leagues are threatening to freeze Notre Dame out of future schedules. If you're not familiar with the contract language, I assume this is because Notre Dame is an independent and they don't have some of the deal terms that the conferences have. Notre Dame is guaranteed that what happened to them this year will not happen to them next year if they are in the top 12. And what I just realized, I don't know if you guys realized it. I don't know if Pablo realizes this in the storm of internet noise that he's presently in. You guys do realize that in the argument of Pablo Torre versus Nick Wright, Pablo Torre is Notre Dame. He's right, but he's going to look and sound like he's wrong.
Thanks.
That's what's happening here, though. It's the thing. It's the self-righteousness. It's the sanctimony. It's you are
very Catholic,
but you are you are journalistically pure, and no one wants to hear it. One thing we are not talking about, and we should be.
I'm going to be haunted by that for a long time, aren't I?
I worry. Dominique had a worse one during that hour that I'm sure a lot of people
let's
noticed.
get that one.
See if you guys can find.
Let's grab that.
About 10 minutes from the end of the segment,
My dear friend Dominique
absolutely stumbled through something that was twice as long as that.
Judas Foxworth.
I don't want to go any more in this show without talking about something that's happening in basketball that simply can't get enough attention, and the droning excellence. This is something that Roger Federer suffered from, Pete Sampras suffered from. We want our sports teams to be great. We want to see our athletes be great, but not too great. Not too great. Not so great that we can't talk about drama and storylines, because the Oklahoma City Thunder, defending champions, have just put together a 25-game stretch that has never been seen in the history of basketball. Not at the beginning of a season, at any point during a regular season. The Miami Heat did win 27 straight games. They did not do it this dominantly. OKC lost a game to Portland, has not lost any others. They beat Phoenix. Phoenix is a good team. They beat Phoenix last night by 49 points. They're beating everybody by a point differential that makes this the most unprecedented dominant stretch in the history of basketball. I mean, I don't think it's good for the sport. It's one thing to have Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman. It's an entirely different thing to have it be a small market team that's interesting only because of its excellence. There's nothing else interesting there. There's no storylines. There's no drama. There's no any of the noise nonsense that the basketball season feeds off during the regular season. there are no two bigger stories in the sport this year than all the stars are getting injured because the limits of the human body can't reach the way the game is being played right now. So there's way too much money just injured and not playing. But the team that is playing is way too good. Way too good to talk about, way too good to be interesting to the average basketball fan who just enjoys the superficial cotton candy of give me the dramatic storyline.
Dan, I look at it as a palate cleanser. Wow, like we could talk about basketball with these guys. And by the way, they're injured too. Yeah. That's the insane part about this. So did we. They played a game about a week ago or so against Utah where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Isaiah Hartenstein, Alex Caruso, Isaiah Joe, and Lou Dort all sat. That's a starting lineup in the NBA. That's a 50-win team starting lineup. They were favorited going into that game by 11.5 points, Dan. They won it by 30. Yeah. They're amazing no matter who else is out there. I watched that game last night, and the only way I can describe it, and this is the part where fatherhood comes in handy, because my child plays high school basketball and plays AAU basketball, and when I was watching that game, I said, I know exactly what this looks like. This looks like an AAU when you have that one team where everyone has a D1 scholarship. Yes. And they're playing against a team that's like their church put it together. Yeah. And the idea that they can't bring the ball up the court, it's a turnover every single time. Layup, turnover, layup, turnover, layup. And I'm like, oh my God, I've never seen this in NBA on the NBA level ever.
I think they're super interesting. I do. Like I don't. Yes, we had the 97 Bulls and you had the 2016 Warriors, but they would lose sometimes. I've never seen a team in the NBA in an 82-game schedule. By the way, I'm not looking so stupid for talking about winning 80 games this year. We could circle back to that if you want, Dan. But I've never seen a team that just doesn't lose. And think about this. They're in the semifinal now of the NBA. They're going to win the NBA Cup, all right? So we're watching a team that is going to win the NBA Cup, has a real good chance to win the NBA championship, and might win the most games in the history of the NBA regular season. And because the NBA Cup's rather new, like there's never been a team that has done what Oklahoma City has the chance to do this year. Dan, can I give you a stat? So Tim Bontemps from ESPN tweeted this out last night. You want to do stat of the day?
Yeah,
come on. Huh? What are you waiting for?
Man.
Start of the day. Start of the day.
A proper toss.
This is start of the day. Start of the day. Start of the day. This is start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day.
Dan, the Oklahoma City Thunder have led by at least 20 points for 264 minutes and 17 seconds this season. The Oklahoma City Thunder have trailed for 249 minutes and 53 seconds this season. So, to summarize, for the simpletons out there, the Thunder have led by 20-plus points more than they have trailed by, say it with me, everyone.
Big ahead.
Point.
Dan, to piggyback off that, and obviously they're going to be compared to the greatest regular season team of all time in the 15-16 Warriors. They are completely lockstep on pace with Golden State, 24-1 through the first 25 games. December 12th was the day that Golden State lost their first game, but we're looking at a historic pace. If I gave you the over-under, handicapped it at 71 wins, do you go over or under?
Yeah, you got to go over. You have to go over. I know that Zaz and Kendrick Perkins are doing 80-2, but I mean, walk me through some of this, because I believe that what's happening right now is problematic for the league, because when it's Michael Jordan and the Bulls doing it, or when it's the Warriors and Klay Thompson and Steph Curry shooting like no one's ever seen and revolutionizing the sport, I can make it interesting. I'm going to have a hard time doing it with defense. I'm going to have a real hard time making basketball defense interesting to the average person.
I'm going to tell you right now, the way they play defense, no, that's not true. They play defense, it's fun because it's turnovers. A lot of times when we talk about great defensive teams, It's a lot of it's in the mud. They missing
Like
shots.
those 04 Pistons were a rough
It's
watch.
it's like arm wrestling. It's very physical and slow. These guys, because it's so fast paced, because they're turning it over, live ball turnovers. We're getting out in the fast breaks. We're dunking. There was a point last night where they were like, turn them over, come back, hit a three. Turn them over, come back, hit a three. They play an interesting, fun style of basketball. I don't think the market thing really matters. I think what matters is when people watch these guys play. It's a fun style. This isn't your Tim Duncan Spurs. This isn't your Chauncey Billups Pistons. These guys are fun to watch, and they're dominant. And the thing that we know about all sports is the biggest kind of light that calls people under the tent is if you have a dominant, nobody can beat them. It's Rocky IV all over again. You seen him. You know how strong he is. You can't win. That's the thing that brings people in. Everyone claims they love parity. Parity is bullshit. Everyone locally loves parity because, like, oh, my team has a chance. But the reality is nationally, no one's interested because, like, oh, so anyone could win? All right, call me when it's important. But when you have someone who is so dominant and so ruthlessly dominant, what ends up happening is everyone's like either, wow, can they win 80 games? Or, wow, who's going to beat them? And by the way, guys, I have a prediction for everybody. You guys ready for this? What is it? The Oklahoma City Thunder will not win the NBA Cup. Whoa. They're going to lose in the NBA Cup final. Do you know why I'm saying this?
No.
Because every game they played up until this point counts towards their record. The semifinal game on Saturday, that counts towards their regular season record. But the NBA Cup final is the 83rd game, and the league has determined not only does that not count towards your record, but any stats accumulated in that game do not count to your season stats. So it is the most meaningless game other than winning the NBA Cup and winning $500,000. I think.
Dagenau's going to take a dive?
I think whoever comes out of the East is going to win the NBA Cup. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
And you look at the head of the spear for OKC and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's a very vintage player, right? He gets to the mid range a lot. He's able to get to the cup in this Steph Curry-ized NBA where everybody wants to shoot 45-footers. He's like, no, I'm going to get to my spot at the free throw line extended. I'm going to get to my spot in the corner. I'm going to get to the hoop. I'm going to get fouled. Like that's what we used to watch in the early 2000s.
It's what people have been crying about. Like, oh, what happened to the mid-range? Everyone just shoots threes. And like, here comes Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
I'm going to bring Pablo in on this because I do believe, Tony, you and Amin really love basketball. I do too. I would say Pablo does too. I would say a lot of people in this room love basketball. And so I'm taking a devil's advocate position. This is not my position. I'm taking a devil's advocate position when I say not only is it not good to win with defense, not only is small market generally rejected, but the other thing that's here is for 15 years, we've been trained on super teams. It's not one guy. It's not one guy mid-range jumpers. We haven't done that since Dirk. That is not something, as a devil's advocate position, Pablo, that I can sell to the person who doesn't love basketball the way Tony and Amin love basketball.
I think the real story of the Thunder is that they're the best run organization in all of sports. And that's not a great fight poster. That they have proven that the small market thing can become irrelevant if you're well run enough. I mean, the whole story of how the Thunder were born. I mean, Amin, you know this. The Clippers are responsible for it. The Clippers are responsible for why the Thunder are going to own the next 10 to 15 years.
The Clippers loving the super team thing.
Because they wanted Kawhi Leonard and Paul George at the expense of everything, which was the old math. And Sam Presti, who is, in my opinion, simply the sharpest strategist in all of front office. What I mean? What?
I was going to say, it's not the Clippers. Ironically enough, this all started in 2008, I want to say 2007, with a trade from Phoenix to Oklahoma City, Kurt Thomas, and 2 first-round picks for absolutely nothing because we needed to get under the luxury tax, and Robert Sarver was all over our ass about that. And that trade, one of those picks turned into Serge Ibaka, and Serge Ibaka turned into Victor Oladipo, and Victor Oladipo, and that ends up where we are today.
Sam Presti did the super team thing. Sam Presti, to your point in the Phoenix of it all, right? That's fair. But Sam Presti did the super team cycle. He did the rare thing where he went through collecting Ibaka, Durant, Westbrook, Harden, and then lost all of them and rebuilt because the Clippers said, we want to do that thing now. We want the superstars. And they sent over everything. I mean, again, to say the obvious thing that everybody in the NBA is muttering about, the Clippers are giving their first rounder to the Thunder this season. And they might have the number 1 pick. And that's on top of the 5 other picks they sent, right? And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
I think that was the 4D chess that Sam Presti was playing as he was looking at the landscape of basketball, being like, okay, I think the blueprint for the super team, the big 3, is kind of dead. I want to build this thing another way with getting smart people and kind of the way that they did it through the draft, the original time with KD, with Russ, with Harden, with Ibaka, with all these guys. The blueprint kind of died, and Sam Presti was like, I'm in a perfect position to usher in a new blueprint of how teams can go going forward.
The thing that makes it fascinating, too, is you look at having this potential dynasty ahead of you and finding a team that's entertaining to watch because you want to see people take them down. The difference between this sport and what's happening in Major League Baseball with the Dodgers is like the Dodgers just go out and sign a closer for $70 million because the previous one that they signed for $70 million didn't quite work out and their bullpen's not good. The fascinating part here is they just built it. And they bilked a bunch of other teams for their draft picks and have been in this position to build something that does have a super team element as well, because you have Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams along with Shai. So you have what is a quasi big 3 that's just not marketed the same way because you're in Oklahoma City. And you have all of these other pieces around them where Case and Wallace can be plus 19, or rather plus 36 in 19 minutes last night. Like, that's how dominant this team is from top to bottom. And I think a lot of people will find it interesting to watch them moving forward.
They were the first team with the strategy of, we'll take your shitburger contract, but you have to attach a first-round pick to it, right?
I think 2007,
I
baby.
think they started that.
2007. I just told you how it started. I just told you. I was in the front office when we did that deal. I'm like, what are we doing? But it's like, yo, this, our owner's on our ass. We got to do something. And it was Steve Kerr's first act as a general manager. And later on, he would say, man, Sam Presti really got one over on me. But you know what Sam Presti is, guys? Do you guys remember the plot to Superman 3? He's Richard Pryor in Superman 3. The idea that we're going to take a fraction. Like, everyone wants to rob millions of dollars. Just like, oh, I'm going to go in there and steal $100 million. Like, no, just give me a fraction of a penny on every transaction. And over time, it will build into this incredible thing. That's what Sam Presti did. Every time, all these, like, oh, Al Horford, I'll take him. Oh, Kemba Walker, I'll take him. Oh, Chris Paul, I'll take him. All of these deals over and over and over again. Kept getting more picks and more picks. And, Tony, this is the part where I disagree with you. Respectfully. I was going to say disrespectfully. No.
I like respectfully.
Respectfully disagree with you because he just rebuilt another big 3. It just, what do you do in the meantime? What you do in the meantime is so incredibly important because what he did is says, we're going to, try out draft and develop and all these things. But in the meantime, I'm also adding these picks because they're all cash in hand, basically.
But it's homegrown, though. The way the old school method of the big 3 was, I'm going to try and get them from other teams and trade them.
I see that. People say that. I'm like, no, the way you build a big 3 is you get a big 3. Can I draft them? Can I trade for them? Can I sign them? It doesn't matter. No one's like, you know what? My strategy is going to be not to do it.
But
no, we're just out to get them.
But keep in mind, right, you're Oklahoma City. So the question of getting a free agent is a lot harder to answer.
Sure.
So the 3 ways you can get a superstar, you can't really get a free agent. So that's why it's so impressive, right? What's impressive about a small market team? It's not just that Oklahoma City, until recently, has been the team that's most likely to complain on behalf of small markets whenever there's any NBA issue. It's the fact that they feel rightfully that they're disadvantaged because they can't get one of the 3 mechanisms to get a superstar to apply to them, which is the free agent. They got to trade and draft.
Okay, so we want to make the Thunder interesting, right? Amin, who says no? The Thunder trade Holmgren and the Clippers pick, which could be number 1 overall, for Giannis.
So we talked about this on Basketball Illuminati a couple of weeks ago. Basketball Illuminati, say it 3 times to keep the third eye open. And the whole concept is if the Thunder were to go after Giannis, it would actually be more of a financial deal than anything else because Holmgren and Jalen Williams both have contracts that explode next year because they signed these big max extensions in the offseason. And Hartenstein and Lou Dort are both entering the last years of their deal next year. So you would try to orchestrate a deal to avoid paying way too much money, which is what they've avoided over the last couple of years, to too many people. So instead of doing that and having to pay premium for Hartenstein, who is a good player but is replaceable, premium for Lu Dort, who's a good player but is replaceable, you pay it to Giannis and then build around that him and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and then probably Jalen Williams. Now, who would say no? I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think Milwaukee would go through the roof over something like that, especially because you're including that pick.
Let's put these things on the poll. Beyond basketball Illuminati, Amin is great for wisdom everywhere, and I really think he dropped a great bit of wisdom that we could commemorate in poll status by putting up the poll question: is the way to get a big three to get a big three at Le Batard Show? And also, is Sam Presti like Richard Pryor in Superman 3? Put that on the poll as well. The place that I will say is not a devil's advocate position on saying that this Thunder thing is not good for basketball. You have to have some close games, guys. You can't have all the games be 30 and 40 points. This is an unprecedented stretch of basketball. No one has ever played 25 regular season games with this kind of point differential. Not at the beginning of a season. At any point in all the seasons ever played, there's never been a team winning like this over 25 games.
Dan, I would say yes, except for the fact that last year they were pretty dominant. They were one of the highest margins of victories in NBA history. I think they was second all time. And yet they got to the finals, and what did we see? We saw a real competitive 7-game series. So all of this stuff, it's the same thing we did with the Warriors in 2016.
You say that we did see a competitive 7-game series, but in that game 7, what ends up happening with the Thunder a lot is
somebody
they
got
win
hurt
by double digits. Like they don't.
But there was
they
an
don't
injury.
play. Yes.
Dan,
there
come
was
on.
an
You're
injury, but
not
they're better
good
this year.
faith arguing now. Now you got to have some good faith. Don't give me that bad faith.
What do you mean I'm not good faith arguing?
You're not good faith arguing.
That's not a good faith.
That's not a good faith argument.
If
That's not a good
Halliburton's
faith
healthy,
argument.
they win.
You know what you're doing.
Pascal Siakam was great
Bad
in that
faith.
series. Halliburton was electric.
Best player got hurt.
Guys,
it's important.
Guys, that's the most vulnerable that team's going to be. I would have loved to see them have to face Denver, who had already done it. They had never done it before. Intense moments. That was a young team. Last year was the year to get OKC. This year ain't the year to get OKC. They now know they can do it. This team's better than that team.
Yeah, but they were going up against TJ McConnell in that one game for the championship. So it does matter. It did matter that it won 7. It was a compelling series. It was a good series. And then you build to the game 7 crescendo and you realize, well, TJ McConnell's not going to do it.
And by the way, the last 2 champions, I think we can all sit here and say with pretty much certainty, man, if y'all had to play that big fella in Denver, maybe it would have been different. Like, now, hey, kudos to the Timberwolves who beat Denver last year, and kudos to whoever beat Denver 2 years ago, but my mind escapes me right now. But the point is, like,
Minnesota?
They beat them 2 years in a row. They didn't beat them 2 years in a row. Or was it last? It doesn't matter. My point is, the idea is still the same, which is, we still have things that represent threats. When you talk about 2016, the Warriors, who were so dominant, right, and won 73 games and everything, that Rockets series, they still needed that Game 7 where the Rockets missed 1 million shots. That Thunder series, they still needed Klay Thompson to go supernova crazy. Right? And the finals, obviously, they were up 3-1 in that one, and they blew it. Things still happen. We still play the games. We still have not had, I don't think, in the history of basketball, a season where it's like from game 1 to the last game of the finals, everything was a yawner.
That's why you're not good faith.
Not good faith.
Plus, they played the Nuggets last season in the semifinals. Game 1.
Gordon, that was the Aaron Gordon injury.
Hamstring
There you
game,
go.
yeah. So they went to 7 there and got pushed more than anybody outside of the finals. But like they saw Jokic and they beat him with defensive strategy.
Like, I hear what you're saying, Dan. Your good faith argument is that was them inexperienced. Now they have the championship medal and all that. That's a good faith argument. A bad faith argument is to say, well, I mean, look, they won Game 7 by double digits. 2 Game 7s they had, missing 2 pivotal players. That's a bad faith argument, Dan. That's a bad faith argument.
All right, you mentioned that, but what I would say would be an overall concern for the league. You did have some great moments during. Oh, for the love love of God.
Per John Heyman, teams across Major League Baseball are looking at pitcher Joey Gallo. Back to you, Dan.
He's got a big arm. You're turning him into a pitcher?
He is indeed working out as a pitcher for multiple Major League Baseball franchises, Dan.
Is it Gallo or Callow?
Gallo with a G or Gallo with a C?
Gallo with a G.
I was thinking Joey Callow.
Oh. Joey Gallo's dead.
Of course.
The thing that I was trying to make that was not a bad faith argument is that when you think of last year's postseason and singular moments, I think Halliburton is the one who produced the singular moment. But because in the age of threes, you have more double-digit results, you didn't have Game 7 buzzer beaters. You did not have Game 7s that were close. I worry the way that the league has gone with the three-pointer. Do you think this is a stupid worry to have, that you're going to get more and more? You did get this recently, more and more double-digit results, so you don't get the dramatic endings that you need to create the moments that continue to live on forever. Go ahead and give me all the moments OKC had in last year's playoffs, because Halliburton's the guy who got the moments against the Knicks. Give me the ones you remember last year from OKC.
Halliburton Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
OKC. Give me the moments OKC had. That not,
Beating
not
Denver
that
in
happened
Game 7.
in games involving OKC, that OKC did things that you remember. They won a championship doing nothing you remember other than being great.
They destroyed
It's
the
hard to argue
Memphis
with that one.
Grizzlies. Destroyed them.
You understand what I'm saying, though? Yeah, like the three-pointer has distorted some of the results in this sport so that you don't get the close games at the end.
Yeah, Halliburton had plenty of moments. The Pacers had plenty of moments on their run. Yeah, several. And the Thunder found a way to go to Game 7 of the NBA Finals without those super memorable moments.
It was that.
So you guys aren't worried about it then? You're not worried that the excellence is too much?
No, not at all, because I think the excellence is what draws people in. Yeah. People want to see, they want to see Goliath either destroy someone, or they want to see David hit him in between the eyes with a slingshot. That's what this whole thing is built as, and anyone who tells you otherwise does not understand what the history of sports has told us. What did the Yankees do in '98?
I think you need more Goliath-y behavior. As somebody who's been a master in being unlikable recently, I think you need Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to lean in. Like, he needs to be more Goliath, if that's what you're saying. I just think they're, frankly, too likable.
Perhaps
in a small market, and they're uncontroversial.
Yeah.
And they have no drama.
That's the part. The market, I think. Can it really be a Goliath if it's Oklahoma City?
I think Goliath is whoever is dominant, man. Like, I think dominance is what makes us feel that way. I think when we do this thing like, oh, we need a controversy, we need people hating each other, that's kind of the lazy way we've covered sports over the social media era. But, like, historically, that's not what does it. People hate success. They don't hate, like, oh, because those guys are jerks or whatever. They hate success. That's the thing that breeds that contempt. And what Oklahoma City is doing, and what they have an opportunity to do, is something that we haven't had in this sport for about 7 or 8 years, which is sustained success.
But to Dan's bad faith argument, like, you had the big three Heat, and that was a hated team because of the way that they came together and controversy around their big three. The Warriors were really likable until Kevin Durant shows up, and that changes everything. So to go to Zaz's point, if Giannis all of a sudden ends up with Oklahoma City, that does add the drama, the specter of all of it, a guy who's already a champion joining this team that's already a super team, that's already going to be one of the greatest of all time.
Zaz, you know about that specter?
I already told you, man. Stop asking things I already answered you about.
We're going to do You Know About in a second with Zaz. Get ready for that. I want to do it rapid fire. But I do think another issue that OKC could have if you're just building storylines and drama, never mind the controversy part of it, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as an MVP isn't the kind of personality that people talk about as face of the league the way they do or did about Ja Morant or Anthony Edwards, just because it's not just that they're likable and wholesome. He largely, in interviews, commercials, everything else, not terribly interesting. Great player, fun to watch, not spokesman for the league type. Now, we'll do it with marketing. We did it with Michael Jordan. He wasn't actually terribly interesting in interviews, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander demanding his play speak for him in this day and age, I mean, that doesn't sell as well as having other things other than your play. It's just the play with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You're not going to get anything else where people in the sport are embracing him because they love the nature of his personality, that personality has any kind of edge.
I don't see him as like a recluse. I don't look he's like Tim Duncan. I would compare him to Steph Curry. I mean, even Steph Curry, not an interesting guy, not an interesting interview, at least not until recently. I think Michael Jordan is a good example. Michael Jordan gave you a straight vanilla answer to every question, and guess what? The dominance won out. We just loved him because he was great. And I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, not a recluse. He's a guy who's engaging.
Hold on a second, though. You're not going to tell me that Michael Jordan, like part of the problem they have, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander doesn't have moments. I mean, Michael Jordan has 1,000 moments.
You don't remember that
moment?
What a pro wants.
Moments.
What a pro wants is a moment. What a pro needs.
Down that stretch against Indiana, we had the footwork, and he came back, and he hit that shot, and everyone was like, that's a travel. I'm like, not a travel, because it starts together. Yep. You got moments, man.
That explanation for greatness in terms of enduring, I want to watch that, that's not a gather, is not on Michael Jordan's resume. That's not a gather.
You know what we have on
selling point on moments.
You know what we have on Michael Jordan's resume? He shoved the shit out of Brian Russell. Yeah. We shoved the shit out of him. But you know what? The dominance, we accepted it. We love him for it. But at the time, people were like, that's a foul, and you guys just continue to protect him and all that shit.
Miami takes it from here. You know about that is coming up with Zaslow. Thank you, guys.